long ago, the star of Siliveth shattered. Its fragments spread across the land, granting immense power to a lucky few. But where there is light, there is also darkness. Malevolent forces have arisen, seeking to claim the power of the stars for themselves. You must harness this celestial power. Fight back against the Archeum Legion and free our world. Silesium is a vast, living, breathing open world with diverse environments to explore and deadly enemies to defeat. Shapeshift into legendary creatures to carry you through the air and over the waves. Push back against the Legion in tactical combat across a seamless world. Take up arms and join others as you fight alongside fellow guild members. As your skill grows, you'll unlock powerful new abilities. Adjust your fighting style to counter your enemies. Use ranged attacks to draw your enemies in. And swap to hard-hitting melee to finish them off. The Legion isn't the only enemy you'll need to fight. Battle other players in PvP dungeons, player-controlled castle sieges, open-world combat, and conquest battles for territory. Gather your guild. Prepare for battle and claim the throne.
Venture into the heart of Throne and Liberty's co-op dungeons, where teamwork is essential for survival. From the twisting corridors of Paola's dungeon, these instanced dungeons offer a rich blend of combat, strategy, and discovery. Each co-op dungeon requires you and your party to work together to overcome powerful enemies, solve complex problems, and navigate treacherous environments. The rewards for your efforts are significant, with rare loot and valuable resources waiting for those who can successfully conquer these challenges. And Throne and Liberty co-op dungeons are where the bonds are forged and legends are born. Rally your friends, form a party, and prepare to dive deep into these dangerous dungeons. Are you ready to face what lies within? Brace yourself for epic encounters with Throne and Liberty's world field bosses. Massive, open-world threats that challenge even the most seasoned adventurers. These towering titans roam the land, bringing chaos and destruction wherever they go, and it's up to you and your allies to bring them down. World field bosses offer both PvE-only battles and PvP-enabled fights, where the challenge isn't just about taking down the boss, but also fending off rival guilds vying for control. In these PvP-enabled zones, you'll need to keep one eye on the bosses and the other on potential threats from other players, turning these encounters into intense, multi-layered battles. Each boss presents unique challenges, from brutal area of effect attacks to intricate battle mechanics that require precise coordination and strategy. But the rewards are well worth the effort. Defeating these powerful foes can yield rare loot, valuable resources, and prestigious achievements. Whether you're battling solo with your guild or against rival players, Throne and Liberty's world field bosses offer an experience like no other. Rise to the challenge and claim victory!
Welcome to Siege the Day, the two-day PvP event where top creators from North America, Europe battle for glory in Throne and Liberty. Throne and Liberty is a free-to-play MMORPG available on PC, Xbox Series XS, and PlayStation 5, with early access beginning this week, Thursday, September 26th. I'm your host, Paula Alejandra, and I would not be able to do this alone. I got Grenton in the house.
Thanks, pal. Today, you'll see some exciting game modes, starting with a 3v3 arena match, a 70v70 conquest battle, followed by our main event, where hundreds of players will converge on Stoneguard Castle for a massive PvP alliance battle during today's castle siege.
We also have exclusive developer interviews, we have guild strategy insights and epic battles, and of course, your favorite, some Twitch drops. Now, I know we need to go into these Twitch drops. Anything that,
Yeah, so you get a super cool title, Siege of the Day. It's going to be exclusive to those of you who are watching. But more importantly, you do get an Amatoy if you watch for 90 minutes today. And Amatoys are super cool because not only are they just adorable, little pets that follow you around, they will also collect loot for you. So you don't have to actually run over loot drops and pick it up. But not only that, within Throne and Liberty, there is a collection book, and the more amount of Amatoys that you get, the more passive buffs your character will get to things like Solent and XP gains. So stick around. You definitely want to not miss the show because of the content, but you also get a cute Amatoy if you stick around with us.
Oh, give me that Amatoy. Well, we also have some familiar faces. We have some friends also joining us. Cannon! Hello!
Hi.
Hi, you made it.
Did the chat see the lower third?
Oh.
Of course.
They saw that showed up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
King.
That's my name, baby.
Bro, you're not even bald.
Yeah,
I don't like.
Hey,
you need to stop coining that phrase. You're not actually bald.
But look how well it stuck.
It didn't stick, bro. What do you mean? You're not bald. You can't. That's like me. I'm not gonna go there, but you can't do that, man. You can't do that. It bothers me.
He can be bald if he wants
That's
to.
true. And without talking about my hairline too much, how does it feel to actually be in the same room as me and the rest of Amazon Games and ready to play this event and actually show up to a siege that matters?
Bro, how am I supposed to respond to that? Like, what do you mean? Like, why do you have this little thing against me? Just because?
It's because you live in an island over there.
I don't understand, man.
You're on your little island.
Listen, okay, you can ask NCSoft to release the details to the Hyperboost Siege. I give you guys credit. It was great. Siege champion.
That's right.
But mine on paper was the biggest so far, okay? So don't hate on me for doing that.
Okay. Well, we also have chat in the house, so I need to see who you guys are rooting for. I see some names. I see, what is it? 1989.
Hi from Germany.
Miko Gonez. Let's go. Yeah, just shout out who you're rooting for. I mean,
There's this huge spam going on too from a Great Rebellion. So shout outs to
Oh,
Great
yeah,
Rebellion.
that-
I think that's a guild.
Okay.
if I had
Shout
to
out
guess.
your guild. Let's go. I like to see it. Well, Throne and Liberty is published by Amazon Games, but did you know it's also developed by NCSoft? Throughout the event, we'll dive into exclusive videos with NCSoft's Moonyoung Choi and Moonsoft Lee, where they'll provide deeper insights into the world of Throne and Liberty. Let's check it out.
네, 안녕하세요. 저는 이문섭이라고 하고요. 트론 앤 리버티의 게임 디자인 디렉터를 맡고 있습니다.
네, 저는 이제 TA 프로젝트 전체를 총괄하고 있는 최문영이라고 합니다.
저희 게임들을 유저들한테 보여줬을 때 사실 유저들이 되게 동일한 목소리로 월드가 정말 아름답다, 그 다음에 탐구하고 싶다, 그리고 신비감이 있다, 이런 게 있었고, 그래서 사실 저희는 이 지금 유저분들께 소개된 솔리시움이라는 대륙을 설계할 때 단지 이 땅을 만드는 거에 그치지 않고 이 대륙이 존재하는 행성부터 사실 설계를 했어요. 이 행성은 어떤 행성이고, 그리고 이 행성이 가지고 있는 다양한 식생들은 무엇이고, 그 다음에 어떤 환경적인 요건들을 가져야 우리가 앞으로 확장할 때 제한 없이 확장할 수 있을까, 이런 거를 되게 고민을 해서 그 행성 단위로 이제 뭐 기후라던가, 그 다음에 다양한 지역 형태, 그 다음에 뭐 자원들, 그리고 또 여기에서 존재할 수 있는 여러 자연 현상들을 정의를 했고요. 이 자연 현상들 중에 일부를 발췌를 해서 사실 지금의 솔리시움 대륙을 만들었고, 여러분들께 초반에 보여드리는 라슬란 스톤가드 두 대륙은 이 솔리시움 대륙의 극히 일부분입니다.
우선은 아트적으로 유저들에게 즐거움을 줄 수 있는 아트 디자인을 만들어내고 싶었고, 그리고 게임 안에서 본인들이 상상하는 것들을 자유롭게 플레이하면서 여러 사람이 함께 그 안에서의 어떤 관계와 즐거움을 얻을 수 있는 게임을 만들려고 하는 것들을 중점으로 생각했습니다.
I mean, this sandbox is absolutely massive. I mean, when you first started playing about, like 9 months ago, did you have any idea this is what would be created?
No, and I'm someone who usually just kind of rushes to the end game. I'm a bit of a sweaty gamer, as is Canon. But actually, in Throne and Liberty, in Silicium, the landscape is just stunning. Sometimes I'll just catch myself, chilling, hanging out by a town, and I look out and there's a beautiful sunset, or as you saw in the trailer, there's our homie Jigentrite the whale who's just flying around, and you can actually, spoilers, you could ride that whale if you really wanted to and actually get a little plane tour almost of Silicium. So I feel like NCSoft did a phenomenal job with not only the world, but actually incorporating gameplay elements, which you'll see in today's fights, of the world around them into the gameplay.
Well, we have a great show ahead of us today. We have 3 rounds of gameplay, starting off with Arena, then we move on to Conquest Battle, and then finally we round things off with the epic Castle Siege. But like I mentioned before, we are heading into Arena first. Let's find out who will be competing in today's Arena.
And we got a spicy one for you today. On Team A, we have Cannon teaming up with Shroud and Action Jackson, who will be going up against Team B, which has Stoops, Lyric, and Genitals. I actually did a little bit of homework, as a good caster would, so I could find out what weapons and what comps these teams are playing, and it's a complete mirror match, except for one player on each team. Action Jackson is playing Greatsword Dagger, and Genitals, shout out Fishing Sloth, is playing Greatsword Crossbow. So Cannon, I know Stoops has been very nervous about this coming up to today's event, so why don't you talk on that a little bit?
I mean, what do you want me to say? I mean, look, Stoops is not happy with his teammate for rolling Greatsword Crossbow. I want to be very clear, just so you guys know, I say this in my videos, every class is viable, but we're doing Arena. And not every class is that viable in Arena. And let's just say Crossbow Greatsword is definitely one of the more difficult ones. However, I'm not playing on my main weapon. I'm not playing Greatsword Dagger. I am playing Bow Dagger. So hopefully we'll have some fun. Stoops is also on the Bow Dagger. We've got a mirror match. No excuses, because he's literally playing my build. I gave him my build.
So you're quite literally 1-to-1.
Exactly.
I like it. Exactly. Well, Arena will be best of 3 matches, so let's throw up a poll. Chat, I'm going to need your help. Is it going to be Team A or Team B? Let's see.
Start spamming in the chat. Who do you think is going to win?
Spam it up.
Are we got Cannon or we got Team Stoops? Team A or Team B?
It's pretty even. Oh, wait, no. Oh, wait. I'm thinking A.
Cannon, your team's holding strong here. What's going on? Look at the chat. It's just all A's.
Paid people.
Cannon, how much did you pay them?
I'm surprised there's that many people that actually voted for me. Like, what are you guys thinking?
All right, we've got a few seconds left, chat. All right, guess what? The people have spoken. It is A.
Yeah, Cannon, no pressure, because we know in the studio Twitch chat is always right.
Always.
So if you lose, you're making a fool not only of yourself, but of Twitch chat, and we definitely don't want that to happen.
I mean, I'll try my best to keep it entertaining, guys.
All
I'm
right.
not here to dominate. I'm here to entertain.
Wow.
That's what I like to hear.
Right?
All right. Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's get into the basics. What is Arena anyway? Up next, we'll have a video breaking down Throne and Liberty's Arena, giving you an overview of the 3v3 battles, the key mechanics, and what it takes to secure a victory. Let's take a look.
Welcome to Throne and Liberty Arenas, the ultimate proving ground for battle-hardened warriors. In this cross-server 3v3 mode, players at level 50 and above engage in fast-paced strategic combat. 2 unique battlegrounds, the Celestial Amphitheater and the ever-changing Magical Laboratory, offer distinct challenges that test adaptability and teamwork. The objective is clear. Be the first team to reach 200 battle points within a tight 5-minute limit. Points are awarded every 30 seconds based on performance of kills and eliminations, but success requires more than just raw power. Scoring incentivizes offense and defense, so it will take a smart use of abilities, quick thinking, and flawless coordination to dominate the arena. The arena isn't just about personal glory. As we gear up for Siege the Day, the stakes are even higher. Top creators will soon clash in these very arenas, battling not just for victory, but for the title of Arena Champion. Who will thrive under pressure, and who will be left behind?
What a beautifully done video, just showcasing the basic strategies of Arena and showing you the 2 different maps that we might see today. However, there's a lot more intricacies that go into the Arena that isn't just class composition dependent, but also, as I mentioned in the video, it's not all about personal glory. It's not your traditional Arena that you just kind of go through and you attack and you kill the other team as fast as possible and you go next. This works on a point system, so each team will start out with 6 points, 2 per player, and every time you kill someone on the other team, you'll get half of their points. Then every 30 seconds, the game will run a check, and the team that has more points will be awarded more score, which you'll see from the progress bars at the top of your screen. What's super interesting, though, is if your team manages to have 12 or more points, you will then actually get one of the 3 empty spheres. Once you fill those 3 up, no matter how much time is left in the arena, you will simply win. What's super cool also is the amphitheater map. It's just your traditional, octagon, hexagon, I can't count. But there's like sides. You don't have to worry about anything. You just fight and run around. But the laboratory map actually has what I like to call spicy water. And spicy water means if you're playing tank, which we have 2 of those in today's match, you can hook or knock people off of the map. And the only way to get back is to swim through the spicy water, which will do ticking damage to your character, find one of the grapple points, and then pull yourself back up to the map. The downside is your entire team will be fighting short-handed while you do so, and as the match progresses, these pillars will lift, creating bigger holes in the arena to where at the end of the match, throughout the final minute, the entire arena will be flooded and there'll be very minimal spots to kind of stay safe and fight. Cannon, I know you are not, a stranger to the arena. Tell us about your thoughts here going in. Are you worried that, Lyric's going to kind of manhandle you a little bit, throw you off the map, kind of make a fool of you? Or are you super confident you think it's going to be a wash?
I'm considering playing without my monitor.
Oh.
I'm thinking about it. Stoops told me to turn off my monitor for like 30 seconds at the start of the fight to make it even.
I got you. Okay.
But yeah, jokes aside though, NCSoft has made a lot of adjustments to the arena. You can no longer have more than 1 tank, SNS, and 1 wand healer on each team because of how strong they are, especially in small-scale PvP. We are getting that format. We're not seeing any healers in our comp today.
Nope.
We do have 1 tank on each side. I think it's a fairly even He's going to be so mad for me saying it's an even fight. I mean, we have a great sword dagger, but here's the thing. Everyone's new.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone's new. I'm just going to go in there, have a little bit of fun. My boy, I keep bringing up Stoops because he's my boy, but he's going to go super sweaty. And, I'll let him enjoy his time a little bit, but I think we all know how this is going to end.
I mean, chat did say that they think you're going to win. And I know Stoops is super competitive. You and I both know Stoops for a very long time.
He's a big arena guy.
He was a big arena guy in other MMOs that he played, and I'm just kind of curious to see, is he going to gun for you? Is he going to try to, pick off the other people on your team? Or I think he was mentioning on his stream earlier, he's just going to run around and just try to run away from you guys?
Yeah, I'm not really sure what he's going to do. I'll let him have his glory. You know what I mean? Maybe I'll pick on some of the other people, maybe attack the tank, waste some time. We'll see. We're just going to have to watch and see. Yeah.
All right, well, it's time for you to kind of get all strapped up and ready to go. Lock in, Mr. Cannon. There is, a different sort of setup in these arenas, like I was mentioning earlier. It's not just about kill, kill, kill. You'll generate points. So let's say, Cannon has been killing me for half the arena. Every time I respawn, I get back in, and Cannon kills me, and I respawn, and I get back in, and Cannon kills me again. He might end up with, 8, 10, 12, 15 points alone, and his character will actually glow. So we might see that in the arena. And then the other team kind of knows, all right, well, we want to kill Cannon now because, well, if we kill Pow, she'll give us 1 point, but if we kill Cannon, we'll actually get 8 points. And as I did mention earlier, if you have 12 or more points at the end of the arena, well, that's how you score, or at the end of the 30-second check marks, that's how you score these individual spheres. And the arenas, even if they last 5 minutes, if in the first minute and a half you score three of these points, arena's done.
Well, guys, I think the chat is ready, and I'm so excited to see this because I'm kind of fairly new, and I know you've been like my North Star, but I've been seeing chat. I've been popping into some people's streams, which have been I've been lurking, so I see you who's in there. I kind of recognize some people's names, and what's really cool is like these different modes. Some of them are really, really sweaty, which I really like, and I would say any advice for the new people that are coming into this game mode? What should they look out for? I know you said spicy water, pillars, and then anything else.
Well, it's just kind of knowing what you're weak against, what you're strong against.
Like
bingo, you got it nail on the head there. Positioning is everything in Throne of Liberty, whether you're playing a tank, a healer, or a DPS character. There's going to be things you are weak to. There is no one class or one combination, aside from SNS Wand in certain builds, which we're not seeing in this arena matchup, that is strong to everything. So knowing what your counter is, how to position between them, and then more importantly, peeling for your team is going to be very important. It's kind of the same in the arena in other games as well, but in Throne of Liberty it's equally as important because builds are usually tailored to be strong to 2 of the 3 archetypes, so melee, ranged, and magic. Not many builds are tailored to be strong to all 3. So being able to identify what you are strong against and what you're weak against is super important.
Oh my god, thank you for that like tailored description, but I'm so excited to get into our first matchup chat. I know you're hyped and, well, Cannon, I hope you're ready. Let's get started.
You literally counter dagger. You counter both those classes that are on the other team. So just go in there.
And it looks like we're actually starting on the amphitheater.
So you want me to take out Cannon? Who am I going to go for?
Honestly, just either or. Just
and yeah, it looks like we are. The teams are getting ready. As we mentioned, the comps are pretty balanced. There's the Greatsword Crossbow, there's the Greatsword SNS, and there's the Bow Dagger on the red team, which is Stoops' team. There's the Greatsword Dagger, Bow Dagger, and SNS Greatsword on the blue team, which is Cannon's team. So right now we do have Cannon's POV as the arena is starting. If you look at the top of your screen, the blue 0 and the red 0 is the score, and the 2 6s you see means each player on the other team has 2 points each. And it looks like Cannon's going to get pretty aggressive here on the start. He's trying to locate Stoops. Of course he is. Stoops is going to stealth instantly at the beginning, and there goes Shroud right in there. And he's going to try to reveal him from stealth, but he's not going to be able to do so. And it looks like Lyric's actually going to be on Cannon, trying to create some space here for his team, and Stoops is charging up some damage here at the bottom of your monitor, and it looks like they're all going to jump on, and there goes the first kill in favor of Cannon's team. They're actually going to have 7 points now, and there's the first 30-second check that you're going to see. Not having more than 12, they're not going to be able to get one of those spheres, but it looks like there is a little bit of a scrum happening in the middle, and another kill going the side of Cannon's team, but it does look like Action Jackson here is trying to make his way forward, and Stoops is going to get caught with all 3 players. He's going to go down in the blink of an eye, and that's 3 unanswered kills so far on the side of the blue team, which is Team A. Finally, looks like they're trying to get something going here, and it's going to be something you want to line up your spawns. You don't want to come in staggered, and if you look on your screen currently, these are some of the exclusive rewards you can earn by purchasing the early access packs and getting in the game as of September 26th. And look, we have 2 different scrums here happening, one at the bottom of your screen, one at the top. Cannon's team does get another kill, but it looks like Lyric is very low. He's trying to run forward, but he's actually just going to die and reset. That's not a terrible idea, though, but it looks like Action Jackson is trying to make space here. I can hear Cannon trying to shot call from my right ear, which is great. He's trying to keep these players healthy as much as they can, and it looks like they're just doing a really good job of creating space. 12 more points just get awarded to the blue team, and it looks like Stoops will fall once more, and now it's again 3v2, and this is kind of where you have to be careful. If you look, Cannon now is actually glowing blue. He is worth a lot of points, so if you're on the red team, or if you're in their chats, you should spam to get them to start attacking Cannon, because he is the one who is worth the most points, and a lot of low health, and finally there it is, 4 points being awarded to the red team as they finally are able to find a kill, clawing their way back into this game. Cannon is getting a little but he has an insane snipe, collecting some more. Now they have 12 points. So in 22 seconds, we'll see the first blue orb that will appear on your screen. But what an insane attack! And now Cannon is just laughing on his side. Poor guy. And that is a full team wipe. And now you kind of want to make sure that you can engage as a team. And there's Gentacles coming in. She's going to get CC'd a little bit though, but she was able to find some good damage before doing so. And the hook will miss. These builds are running melee and ranged evasion, and there you go, the score was checked. And if you look on the blue side, they do have one of the 3 orbs are lit up, which means they are on their way to winning the arena. 2 quick kills back to back. Cannon is now at 9 points. He is the president they need to protect at this point for the blue team, and it looks like Lyric knows it and he's hunting him. Lyric, if you can hear me, pull out that SNS, use that in your main hand so you can have some shield block, so you can be a little bit more tanky. Stoops is gonna get absolutely demolished by Shroud and Cannon. What an insane engage by both of them. Lyric is in there like swimwear, trying his best to just create some space for his team, but ultimately he'll fall. Shroud now also has 5
Get him out of stealth.
and Cannon at 10 points. He's worth so much. This looks like a little bit of a landslide. Twitch chat, I think you were right. Stoops on his back again might fall. But no, he's actually able to get up and try to create some space. He's going to get hooked by Shroud into a devastating smash. What a beautiful combo. Shroud, not having played this game before, but is someone who is very, very hardcore. And as you saw there, the match just finished early because the blue team managed to get 3 of those blue orbs. But what an absolutely insane first match here between both teams.
I mean, it was just too comical. I mean, I see the chat. You guys, I'm sorry. It was an easy clap. It was good. It was too good.
Yeah, and I feel like in the later half of the match, it looked like Team B, so Stoops' team, was finally finding their footing. They really understood.
Groove. You got to find your grooves. I mean, like we said, this is sometimes first players going in. I mean, Stoops is not, he's a veteran, I would say. And
he's a veteran gamer, but he definitely is not a veteran for
But you guys have been helping him a lot, and I feel like, when you do that, when your friends are helping you in like a new situation like this, it's encouraging.
Of course, and I mean, it's a trial by fire.
Yeah, it's our first game though. It's our first game.
I did see a really great engage by Gentacles that I want to highlight, where she actually was able to get in there and shut down Shroud's counter engage that he was trying to just chase Stoops. I don't know, Cannon, maybe you can talk to it a little bit more. Was the comms just run at Stoops? Because that's what it looked like for the entire match.
Okay. So jokes aside, I do want to give a shout out to my boys, Action and Shroud. I mean, these guys are actual games. Like their comms.
They're going
I don't
crazy.
think you guys can hear the comms, but they're like. I thought there were seasoned vets in there, and when I called a target, they just went on that target, and they memorized their 2 or 3 skill rotation. Obviously, they don't really know how to play their class, but the few skills that they knew, they jumped on the target. Unfortunately for Stoops, he's like he's the kill target there. You know, I don't know what to say. I feel bad, but I don't at the same time. For those of you who voted B, you guys are actually crazy. You're crazy.
What if I tell you to take Shadow Strike off your bars?
I won't use Shadow Strike this round.
Yeah.
I won't. Okay.
So we're nerfing you?
I will not use Shadow Strike.
We got to nerf Cannon at this point.
I won't use Shadow Strike, and I will not use Zephyr Knock.
Okay.
Is that fair?
For those of you who don't know, Shadow Strike is a blink or shadow step to your target. It'll also silence the target. And the way Cannon has it specialized with the skill specializations, it'll actually let you recall back to your initial spot as long as you use it within 5-ish seconds of pressing it. So he is nerfing himself quite a bit with the mobility, so I'm very curious to see what happens here in match number 2.
Well, guess what? We are about to get game 2 started, so let's go.
Same thing.
And now we are on my favorite map.
Ooh.
The
why is it your favorite map?
Because we got this nice purple spicy water. As you can see.
Just, I was getting, segueing that for you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And we have the pillars on, these blue pillars that you see throughout the map. They will come up, they will go down, and they'll create more holes for people to fall through. And yes, I will in fact be calling out everyone who falls. And it looks like the arena is underway as Cannon and Stoops are going to try to look for a clash in the middle. There's a lot of LOS in this arena. There's a lot of line of sight. So it's very important to try to pick your engages as smart as possible. Shroud is just holding W, and he's actually going to be able to get in there quickly on top of Lyric. And now here's the scrum. This is actually a really good spot for Stoops. He's actually able to peel away. Genitals is taking a lot of damage. Looks like they swapped onto her now, and she will fall first in this arena, unfortunately. Lyric getting CC'd, and that's kind of what you have to do. He tried to knock someone in the water. I see you, Lyric. Continue to do that. That's exactly what you need. Stoops has to try to find a way to get out here, but he's on his back, and he will get executed by Shroud and that guillotine blade skill from the Great Sword. And now look, they're just kind of waiting. Nice hook, and this is where you're going to try to want to find a kill here. On the other side, here's a spin to win, but they did end up pulling Lyric, which is the tank, and as you can see, an entire combo just kind of brought him to half health. There's some damage now onto Shroud. Shroud is getting a little low, but again, trying to kill a tank. It's not ideal. The tank in this arena is very much there to set up and CC and peel. And it looks like now, oh, you got to jump across the map. And now we're going to be, there's a little bit of LOS fighting here. And boom, down goes, I believe that was Cannon, if I'm not mistaken. No, excuse me, that was Action Jackson. But they will instantly trade it onto Stoops as well. This is a lot closer of a match, and I feel like the map has a lot to do with it. There's no longer the ability to just kind of run at someone. It's very much you have to pick your engages, because if you get caught outside of line of sight, you'll just kind of die. The game just did its other 30-second check. It looks like they're trying to jump here onto Action Jackson. He is stunned. He's taking a lot of damage. He might actually fall at the bottom of your screen, and yes, he will. What a beautiful isolation by Team B, which is Stoops here. They're able to actually find Action Jackson, root him, execute him, but a quick answer from Cannon's side as well as they're able to clean it up and collect 10 points. This time, however, it is not Cannon who is glowing, but Shroud, who has seemed to be picked up his SNS Greatsword pretty well. Lyric again trying to knock someone down, but it looks like Action Jackson's getting low on the other side of your screen. Stoops is going to fall as again Shroud just hits him with the guillotine. There's something poetic of getting killed maybe by your favorite FPS player. So maybe Stoops has something to write about there as well. But it looks like they are trying to hunt down Action Jackson here as he's just trying to run for his life. Cannon making some space, going to be able to CC Genitals and Lyric, and the two tanks are just pound for pound punching each other in the face. And there is another kill on the side of Cannon's team. Looks like Lyric will fall shortly after. Now if you're blue, you just want to press your advantage. Stoops here, if I was him, I would try to disengage, wait for my team to come back, and that's exactly what he's trying to do. He's morphed, he's running away. Morphing does deplete your stamina, and your stamina is the same resource you'll use to block. So it's very important you manage that properly, and as you can see in 10 seconds, the blue team will be awarded their second sphere, and it looks like Cannon's trying to unload a little bit of a combo, finding a kill there, but actually getting caught. Genitals almost able to get a combo off, but a beautiful peel from Action Jackson, and that might actually cost him his life, but it's okay. He managed to get Cannon out there, and boom, there's the second spear coming in as we have 2 minutes left in the match, or 30 seconds if they are unable to swing the point balance back in their favor. And it looks like they're just going to stay and they're going to brawl. This is the ego play from the blue team now, as they're like, hey, we got enough points. It doesn't matter. We're just going to stay and plant our feet here. Beautiful blocks here by Genitals, doing a great job with her defensive. Ultimately, she will fall with 5 seconds left in the arena. It does look like the blue team will take the series 2-0.
Ooh.
Wow, Shroud actually did a ton of damage in that arena. Kind of showed up Cannon a little bit. Maybe I'm not sure if I was looking at the graphic correctly at the end, but I actually think Shroud out-damaged Cannon in that arena, which is amazing. And yes, it was a best of 3.
Yep.
But I feel like all we're seeing is that Stoops, Lyric, and Genitals are just getting more and more comfortable. So for the people at home, we're going to bring you a third match regardless. So Cannon, this is what I'm going to call, and I'm going to coin the ego match, because now all bets are off. There's no longer, two teams that don't know what they're doing. Ego match, pity match. This is the bragging rights. This is what matters. This is the championship Sunday.
All right.
On a Tuesday.
I mean, if you're gonna hype it up, am I allowed to use all my abilities? Because
no, take another one off now too.
I feel like we should double nerf you.
Like, what do I not use?
You running brutal or no?
No. I'm not running brutal. I'm running. I have to. Snipe. Okay, yeah. I'll take snipe off. So I can literally only attack with auto attack and strafing.
Yeah.
It's literally all I can attack.
Also, great comms, by the way, on helping your team out. I know I saw that. I mean, some people,
Come
like
on,
I said,
Grenton, glaze me up a bit.
That's not my. That's her job.
I had some key heals.
I'm Team Stoops, Team Lyric, Team Genitals.
Listen, we got an ego match. It looks like, yes, the chat wants to see it.
They want more blood.
More bloodshed.
All right, let's do it.
Double nerf, and yeah, we got our final. Looks like we're gonna do it.
The people want what the people will get.
We will give you what you want, chat.
Right.
People want what the people will get?
Yeah, it works.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
You gotta be careful though, because Lyric, it looks like he was really understanding the use of the spicy water.
I'm impressed with Shroud.
Yeah, Shroud's popping off as well.
Shroud is locked in. I mean, he's like a mega gamer,
I can't use another.
It just kind of goes to show like a competitive attitude that everyone in this lobby has. So I'm super excited to see match number 3 here.
Well, guys, get ready, because match number 3 is ready for us.
On you and just stay in the smoke screen.
And we're back on the amphitheater, so now this is going to be a lot more of a slugfest, less sort of, setting up LOS, setting up different hooks and knocks. So it's very important for us to see how Stoops, Lyric, and Genitals choose to approach this. Hopefully the chat's been telling them that Cannon is giga nerfed, and you can just kind of farm him. That's the whole point of this. Jump on Cannon, kill him. If you're in the chat and Cannon dies, hit him with a Wajaja spam or something. Make sure you let him know that the world is watching.
The what?
The Wajaja.
Oh, man.
Yeah, little
like
emote, little emote spam.
Oh, I can't say
Like it.
And off we go. The first 30 seconds of the map, both teams are going to start with 6 points. And
Go.
this arena is just a gladiatorial coliseum.
Go,
It's just go forward, find your targets, and of course they're jumping on Stoops again. They're able to knock him out of stealth with that flash arrow, and it looks like poor Stoops has a target on his back with Cannon on his tail, and he will fall, but now it looks like there's going to be a trade back. Action Jackson looks like he's super low and a nice death smash, but unfortunately it will not land the stun. Lyric is going to get caught as well. Genitals in there and grinding and doing a lot of AoE damage with that greatsword crossbow. Lyric's going to get hooked into the counter barrier. That's going to give you a ton of blocking potential. But both tanks look like they're running around with their greatswords in their hand, which is interesting because they won't have regular shield blocks. Actually, looks like Shroud pulled out his SNS here and they're going to try to do some damage. But evading the skill is Stoops, and he's going to try to create some space here for his team. If I'm Stoops, I want to wrap back. Yes, beautiful. Exactly what he's doing. And it looks like Lyric is just locking down Action Jackson as he should with the devastating smash on top of Cannon. And there's the bind from the precision dash, but on the other side, they'll be able to find a kill. And now they're actually fighting 3v2 for the first time in a while, but Cannon going to secure himself a kill with the strafing.
Come to me,
and they're going to try to snowball this lead. Action Jackson is low, but Bo does have some off-healing it can do. So both sides have a bit of off-healing in their build that they can pop through Nature's Blessing.
Yeah.
And, another kill there on the side of Cannon's team, but it looks like Action Jackson is a sneeze away from death, and it might actually fall here, it looks like. But no, he's actually getting that healing from Cannon, like I mentioned. There's another check. Points are awarded, and they're just continuing to brawl. How is he still alive? I have no idea. Action Jackson has been living at about 10% health for as long as I've been on this set at this point.
He's a cat.
And he is just, it's a cat and mouse situation. Cannon is just off-healing him, it looks like, through the Nature's Blessing and the other bow ability that gives a little bit of health regen, and he's just been able to stay in this fight so long. There's the devastating smash from Shroud, and it looks like Stoops trying to get out there. Action Jackson, will he finally fall? He has no HP, and Stoops secures himself that kill. Beautifully done. Finally, Action Jackson does fall. No, it looks like Lyric's actually running Blood Devotion, which is something you don't see in the arena. That's a skill. You see this red line between Lyric and Gentacles. It actually transfers the damage that Gentacles takes back to Lyric, and if he's fully specialized in it, will increase the damage Gentacles does as well. I'm not sure if that was a last-minute swap, but it looks like they will find another kill on Stoops, as they're just trying to just snowball this momentum here. They're at 11 points, so this check, they will not get awarded one of the blue spheres, but they are just, look at this isolation here. Cannon able to, hey Cannon, I think you just used Shadow Strike, you liar.
Oh,
what's going on? Take it off your bars.
I forgot.
What's going on there? I saw that. Chat roast and please and thank you. Lyric is a little bit low, and there is a back and forth, quick traded kills on both sides as Lyric does fall. There's 3 tombstones, so we're in a 2v1 situation, and again, it's just Stoops trying to run away from Cannon and Shroud. Shroud has done a very good job in this series of just locking down Stoops.
Get him out of stealth?
And as a tank, that is your #1 role, is you want to lock down the range DPS. He does get knocked out of stealth, and with no defensives left, he will just fall to Shroud. And another 20 seconds left of the map. Now there is 12 points on the side of the blue team, so they will get their first sphere. There's a minute and 40 left in the actual match. 12 seconds left before the check. It looks like Action Jackson will fall as they are slowly climbing back into this on the side of Team B, which is Stoops, Lyric, and Gentacles. A nice 1v1 between Shroud and Lyric here. I love to see some tank-on-tank violence, but off screen, you will see 2 kills momentarily just kind of fly forward, and because the red team was able to get a kill, the blue team does not get the 12th point, as that point was stolen, and they do not get one of their first spheres. So we're going to be seeing what looks like a full arena match here. In the final minute of play, it goes into what's called looting mode, which means anytime you kill someone, you get 100% of the points they have, not 50%. And this is exactly where you want to be if you're the red team, because you can actually snowball back into this. Shroud has a lot of points. You see the blue pillar going through his character, and that's kind of, you want to go there. He has 6 points. If you kill him, you just instantly get those 6 points. And it looks like they're trying to protect them. He actually pulls Gentacles here, and oh my goodness, just deletes her from the lobby with a well-timed death blow after that stunning blow. And it looks like now the green team here, or the red team on your screen, is just trying to pull back and reset, but there's just not enough time left. Stoops will die once more, and we have 30 seconds left in the match. They will get their second blue sphere, but we're going the distance, ladies and gentlemen, as Action Jackson, this guy just plays better at low health. I'm convinced. He will die, but I feel like 80% of this match, he's been at sub 20% health, and a quick two-piece for the blue team, and they're just going to create a full team wipe here, and I believe that's going to be all she wrote with the final 10 seconds. Stoops is still mad. He's trying to kill Cannon, and it looks like Shroud's letting the 1v1 happen. He's just ignoring him, but at the end of it, it's going to be a 3-0 for Team A, Cannon, Shroud, and Action Jackson.
I mean, I'm sorry, but the disrespect.
Listen, I have mad respect for Stoops because in the last 10 seconds, he just held W and he's like, Cannon, I'm 1v1ing you. And even bigger respect for Shroud because I think Shroud noticed that. And he's like, all right, you guys do your thing. We already won. You guys do your thing. Let the boys fight.
Yeah.
You know, and
what about Action Jackson? Like living on like
what
1
a dark
HP.
Horse.
I don't know what I ate today, this morning, but he's living on, the edge.
I want to actually throw this to Cannon because I feel like without a healer in the arena, it is so important to micromanage your team and your engages. Action Jackson in that match spent, I would argue, 80% of the match at 20% HP.
Yeah.
How were you cycling your abilities as a bow player to keep him alive? Can you explain that to the viewers at home?
Yeah. So Bow Dagger is a unique class because one of the build variations you can pursue with Bow Dagger is you can kind of build for a regen because you don't actually have to spend too many. You have to invest too much, really, to get a good amount of regen. And that's pretty much what I had in my build for the arena, which is really effective because if you do win a skirmish, you kind of want to be top to back off. And considering I could only attack using one ability, I had a lot of time to heal. So I was just healing mainly Jackson to keep him up,
Yeah, he was, I don't know what experience he has, if any.
They're gamers.
With the game.
Yeah.
Maybe you
Both of
can
them are
confirm
gamers.
for us.
It's in the blood, baby.
Yeah.
Shroud had his combo down packed. I'm not going to, he is using my skill build.
He is.
So,
and I gave him your skill build.
Yeah, so he was making me proud. There's nothing more than I like I mentioned, than tank-on-tank violence. I feel like that's very fun to watch, but you got to throw some love to your boy Stoops.
Yeah, Stoops.
That was crazy.
Okay, I do want to mention this. Stoops had a tough time because he was playing a very bad comp. He had two Greatsword users. Greatsword Dagger counters him. SNS Greatsword counters him. The win condition, unfortunately for our team, was to focus him, obviously. Right. And that's what they did. All right. Shroud made the call, not me. Okay.
All right.
Shroud in calls was like, I'm going for Saddies, and I'm like, okay, me too, I guess. So, I mean, that's just what it is. But as far as the support goes, Bow Dagger, usually they kind of try to self-sustain themselves, but in the arena specifically, they can be kind of an off support, which is what I was doing. I was kind of healing. Stoops could have done that as well, but obviously he probably wasn't super aware of what he can or can't do because he's new. But all things considered, I think it was pretty good as far as what Stoops was able to do. It was tough for him because, again, he was the kill target for that fight, and he was just kind of having 2 or 3 people gang up on him every single engagement.
Well, I think it's nice to know that you had some plays there, but I'd actually like to see them once again, so let's take a look. Well, we're waiting for our replay.
There we go.
All right, there we go.
They were also stunned by the gameplay. And why do we cut to a clip of Stoops dying? I have no idea. Poor guy.
Man, you guys
But
are rolling at
if
this point.
you just look at this, look how long Action Jackson's just going to live at 40, 30, 20% HP. I mean, they didn't do a very good job of coming to pressure you, which I feel like Shroud, like you mentioned, did a very good job of doing on the contrary of just attacking, standing laughing.
Oh no, the slow-mo laugh.
Trolling you, man. But yeah, Shroud did exactly. If you're a new tank to Throne and Liberty, you can go watch this back and just look at how Shroud played. And as someone who has played only tank since the launch of this game, that's exactly how I would have played the arena too. You isolate the DPS carry, you isolate the bow player, and you just do your best to lock them down and win.
You love your slow-mo.
I don't want these cuts to me, guys. Production, come on.
You were double nerfed.
Get better angles, please.
We double nerfed you and unironically buffed you at the same time. So we turned you into a healer at that point.
Yeah, you actually did.
Yeah.
Might have hurt.
That's my bad. Stoops, Lyric, and Genitals. You guys crushed it though. Oh, Genitals actually making a very difficult build work in arena as well. Greatsword crossbow, not something that naturally excels in small scale. But she was putting in work, and she actually was getting you guys pretty low, and you had to invest a lot of resources to peel her off, which I feel like if Shroud did a not so good job of attacking Stoops. That would have given Stoops the opportunity to secure those kills.
Yeah, that's true. I'll be honest. I think our team kind of recognized that Stoops he was a pretty big gamer.
Yeah.
To Jen's credit, as far as I know, this is literally her. She literally just logged in like a few hours ago.
Which is wild.
She didn't know. So
yeah.
I think my team definitely did prioritize Stoops for sure because we had to prioritize either or. The issue again though with Greatsword Crossbow is that the biggest issue is just survivability, right?
You don't have that safety net that Dagger gives.
Yeah, it doesn't have that for me, even when I got caught, I could just stealth out or I could smoke screen, and Greatsword Crossbow just simply doesn't have that.
Well, if you want to jump into things early, the Throne and Liberty Early Access Pack allows players to start playing before the official launch on September 26, and it's available on PC, Xbox Series XS, and PlayStation 5, offering exclusive rewards and, of course, a head start. So we'll get into it. The standard pack over here, you have that Radiant Swan Flight Morph, the Shadow Lion Dash Morph, the Radiant Otter Swim Morph, the Radiant Lulu Amatoy, and the Explorer title.
And in the Deluxe Pack, you're going to get everything you just heard Pal mention in the Standard, as well as the exclusive Shadow Knight outfit, the Radiant Wolf Dash Morph, the Shadow Mischief Amatoy, the Adventurous Pioneer title, as well as 500 Lucent to start you off. And in my favorite pack, the Ultimate Pack, you're going to get everything that both the Standard and the Deluxe Packs have to offer, plus the Radiant Spirit outfit, the Shadow Wyvern Flight Morph, the Shadow Lion Dash Morph, the Shadow Shark Swim Morph, the Trailblazer of Silicium title, the Take the Throne emote, and 1,000 Lucent to get you started in the game.
Well, no matter how you get into the game, we're just excited for you to join the battle. And speaking of battles, Conquest Battle is coming out next. But before that, let's hear more from the NCSoft team about their approach of large-scale battles.
예, PVE 컨텐츠에 많이 신경을 썼지만 공성전과 같은 PVP 콘텐츠는 다른 MMORPG가 따라오기 어려울 저희만의 어떤 최고를 만들고 싶었어요. MMO 장르에서. 그렇기 때문에 PVE를 즐기는 유저들도 거기에서의 어떤 성장과 그리고 재미를 통해서 이후에 공성전이라고 하는 PVP 콘텐츠를 하나의 빅게임처럼 같이 즐길 수 있게 하는 것들을 목표로 했고 지금 현재 그런 부분들이 다른 게임이 줄 수 없는 경험을 저희는 주고 있다고 생각합니다.
저희가 사실 게임에서 줄 수 있는 재미는 되게 다양한 게 있는데 MMO에서 줄 수 있는 재미 중에 가장 큰 축 중에 하나가 사실 유저들끼리 서로 대결하는 것이었어요. 그리고 저희가 또 중요하게 생각하고 집중하고 있었던 게 대규모로 대결할 수 있는 전장 같은 게 필요하다는 생각을 했고 그 전장이라면 사실 그 정도 인원 규모가 무엇을 두고 싸우면 좋을까? 어떤 스케일을 가지고 어떤 방식으로 싸우면 좋을까? 이렇게 생각하게 된 게 공성전의 시작이었습니다. 그 테크니컬 프로그램 팀이 되게 사람들이 엄청 좋은 능력들을 가지고 있고 되게 기술적으로 새로운 시도들을 많이 해서 사실 수백 대 수백의 싸움을 하면서도 지연이나 또는 렉이 그렇게 많지 않은 그런 환경을 만들어내서 저희가 이거를 가지고 맨 먼저 이제 개발팀 내부에서 한 100대 100 정도로 싸워봤을 때 와 이거 진짜 다른 게임에서 할 수 없는 우리만의 되게 유니크한 경험이다 라는 생각을 했고
Next up, we have 140 players converging in a conquest battle where two guilds clash for control in the battle for the Boonstone. Right after this.
Silezium is under attack. Join the resistance and combat the demonic Archaeum Legion across Silezium's vast open world. But first, you must take up arms. You will dual wield from an arsenal of powerful weapons. Greatsword, dagger, sword and shield, crossbow, staff, longbow, wand and tome. As you become more familiar with your weapons of choice, your skill level increases. Create a unique build and perform devastating attacks and combos. Silezium has no shortage of adventures to embark upon and enemies to defeat. Complete grand quest lines for your allies. Explore ancient dungeons. Battle gigantic world bosses. And lay siege to player-controlled castles alongside your friends and guildmates in epic PvP battles. Silezium's future hangs in the balance. You and your allies must defend it at all costs. Hone your skills, sharpen your weapons, and claim the throne.
Welcome back to Siege the Day. If you're just joining us, we just wrapped up 3 epic rounds of Arena, and now it's time to turn things up a bit. Up next, we'll dive into the thrilling battle for the Boonstone, a 70v70 conquest battle between Ethereum and Sin. But first, let's talk about the guilds and what makes this event even possible, because guilds are the backbone of Throne and Liberty's large-scale PvP battles, bringing strategy, teamwork, and passion to Siege the Day.
Silezium is a dangerous world. Hordes of demons, dangerous terrain, and even other hostile players could be lurking around every corner. There's safety and community in numbers, so join or create your own guild. Guild membership grants you access to a long list of bonuses and makes it easier to participate in server-wide activities. You can access special shops and supplies, additional resources, extra raids, conquest battles, and massive PvP castle sieges. Guilds are an important part of the Throne and Liberty experience. You're able to join a guild early on during your adventures. The sooner you join, the sooner you can take advantage of all the benefits guild membership has to offer. But first, you've got to find a guild. The in-game UI makes searching for a guild easy. More casual guilds may be open to any and all players, while more hardcore PvP and PvE guilds may require approval by guild leadership. You'll need your resume, 3 forms of identification, and... just kidding. Each guild will have its own requirements for membership, so make sure you know what you're signing up for. Don't forget to check out the recruiting channel in the official Discord to see what the community has to offer. Joining a guild in Throne and Liberty grants you access to exciting and challenging new activities. Contributing towards each guild's contract nets both you and your guild reputation, rewards, and resources. Capturing Boonstones grants you vital buffs, while Riftstones allow the controlling guild to summon a world boss who can drop powerful gear. But laying siege to an enemy castle is the ultimate way for a guild to claim the throne and the rewards it offers. By now, you're a member of a guild. You're organized, you've got the gear, and conquered the dungeons. Group up with hundreds of guild and alliance mates to claim the throne. Siege golems are a must-have for any serious invading force. You can transform into these massive stone monsters by purchasing the materials from the guild merchant. On the topic of serious forces, in any guild worth their salt, the guild leader calls the shots, their officers support them with strong tactics, and members execute the guild's plans to achieve shared goals. From the earliest levels to the endgame, guild membership in Throne and Liberty offers countless benefits. So log in, join up, and claim the throne.
Guilds are quite literally the backbone of Throne and Liberty large-scale content. Even in PvE as well as PvP, which we'll be seeing shortly, joining the right guild is super important. There's not really, a how-to guide on joining a guild, so I'm going to give you some tips that, have helped me find the right home for myself. There's guilds from all walks of life, there's guilds from different cultures, there's guilds with different, missions in the game. Some guilds want to be the best, they want to dominate the server, they want to only be the guild that's in the siege, I own everything. And those guilds will attract, players like me, but also attract a much more competitive and hardcore audience. But there are guilds who just want to, make a nice, wholesome, inclusive community, just have some fun, PvE, and just kind of, dive into the right kind of content. So there are, some good ways to join guilds, but it can be pretty daunting. And if you are able to just join up on the official Amazon Throne and Liberty Discord server, which you'll have the QR code on your screen that way, and you'll be able to find a guild that's right for you. A lot of the guilds actually competing today still have their recruitment open. So if a certain playstyle or, just a certain look of one of these guilds really stands out to you, you can go into that Discord, you can jump into one of those recruitment posts, find the person in charge, and kind of, reach out and see if it's going to be a right fit. We are lucky because we have Canon in the studio today as well. I used to be part of Canon's alliance way back when the game launched in Korea, and we participated in one of the biggest sieges together, or the biggest siege to date. And he now has moved from a guild leader position to more of just, a member and kind of overseeing it. So, Canon, I think you're the perfect person to kind of bring into this conversation and just maybe give some tips to the people at home, either who want to run a guild or who want to find the right guild for them.
Okay, if you want to run a guild, don't.
Tell us why.
It's a lot of work.
The stronger you get, the more haters you'll get. That's the reality.
Okay.
No, I think one of the biggest appeals to me personally, I'm very much a group-oriented person when it comes to the type of content I enjoy. Throne is very much that. I think NCSoft's done a pretty good job kind of steering it into a direction where you really don't have to be in a sweaty, hardcore guild. But at the same time, there is absolutely some prestige, merit, and incentive for joining an active guild. Now, you don't have to be in a super hardcore guild in order to actually compete in all the best content. There's a lot of guilds out there, whether you're NA, EU, and I would just suggest taking the time to have a conversation with the leaders and see if the culture matches for you.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing, like, you hit the nail on the head. It's just make sure it's a right fit for you. Those, the memes of, some guilds might ask for 6 forms of IDs, a CV.
What kind of guilds are you joining?
A letter of reference from previous guilds and games. Maybe that's not your jam.
Is that what Ethereum's doing? Is that what it is?
Maybe we should.
I mean,
at
you
this
probably
point,
should.
But no, it's very. There's guilds from all different walks of complexity and intensity. But I do want to take a moment to shout out some of the guilds, or actually all of the guilds that are participating today, because without you all, this event wouldn't have been possible whatsoever. So our North American guilds, we have Ethereum, Synergy, which is actually an EU guild, but they are competing on NA today against Ethereum. Moonrise, Excelsior, Focus, Royal Vanguard, Eclipse, Elysian, Lunar Inn, and Reborn. And tomorrow we'll be seeing our EU guilds jump in and, fight for glory here. And that'll be Nyx, Just Play, Sanguinis, Zakon, Hand of Unity, Quintessence, WoW, Pirate Gaming, Chi, and Sovereign. So from me and everyone here in the studio to you, thank you so much for jumping in and helping us put on this wonderful event. And I'm so excited to watch you all compete.
Well, guilds aren't battling empty-handed. Let's hear a bit more on your choice of weapons and how that can actually give you an advantage.
재미를 주는 포인트라고 생각하는 걸 뽑아보자면 2가지 무기를 조합해서 어떻게 보면 자신만의 클래스를 만들어내는데 저희가 이거를 뽑을 수 있을 것 같아요. 그래서 이 과정이 사실 저희가 생각했을 때는 어떤 저희 게임은 무기를 정하면, 무기를 손에 들면 그 무기로 쓸 수 있는 스킬들을 쓸 수 있게 되고 이 무기를 심지어 2가지를 조합해서 자기의 스킬 덱을 구성하고 더 나은 스킬 덱을 만들어가는 콘텐츠에 알맞는 그런 과정이 중요한 게임인데 사실 이거는 조합이라는 재미를 주지만 반대로 저희한테는 또 밸런스의 어려움도 주고 있습니다. 하지만 사실 저희가 유저들한테 PL의 어떤 점이 재밌냐, 어떤 점이 흥미롭냐라고 했을 때 사실 빠짐없이 나오는 거거든요. 전통적인 클래스 개념에 갇혀있는 게임들이 아니라 유저가 스스로 무기를 전환해서 얼마든지 사실상 클래스를 바꿀 수 있고 거기에 그치지 않고 이걸 조합해서 새로운 재미를 만들어갈 수 있다는 게 사실 무한의 가능성으로 느껴지는 거고, 저는 사실 사람들이 일반적으로 잘 쓰지 않는 조합을 쓰는데
네.
그 강궁이랑 그 다음에 마법봉 이 두 가지 무기를 쓰고요. 제가 약간 성향 자체가 다른 사람과 함께 하고 그 다음에 좀 도와주는 거 이런 걸 좋아해요. 그래서 이렇게 좀 서포트 형식이 강한, 그 성향이 강한 그런 무기들을 사용합니다. 근데 대중적으로 인기가 있지는 않습니다.
저는 지금 원래 이제 이런 전투 게임에서 저는 항상 그레이트 소드 형태를 쓰고 있고, 그래서 지금 저는 양손검과 그리고 조금 치명적인 어떤 강함을 줄 수 있는 단검, 이렇게 두 가지 무기를 조합해서 쓰고 있습니다.
Okay, I have to bring up because I know you guys geeked out a little bit on that sword.
It's confirmed the developer plays Greatsword Dagger, to no one's surprise. Right, Cannon?
Dude, I'm actually really surprised that, like, because in other games, the developers deliberately don't say what classes they
Right?
We noticed that. I know I'm here on behalf of you guys, but I seen that.
We see you.
Greatsword Dagger, I
We see you.
Greatsword Dagger, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, there's a ton of different combinations in Throne and Liberty of weapon combos, and like Cannon said earlier today, every single combination is viable. Obviously, like any game, there is a meta, and there is stuff that is more optimal than others, but you can just pick two weapons, put them together, and make it work. Before we jump into the conquest battles, I do want to take a moment to just correct myself. So the guild that we saw on the NA bracket was not called Chi, it's called Ki. So I wanted to give you guys the proper shout out. As well as Moonrise is a South American guild competing on the NA day, just like Synergy is a EU
Hey,
guild.
vamos chicos.
There you go.
Hey.
So big love to you guys. Thank you so much for being here. And let's get into some more action.
Yeah, well, conquest battles are all about teamwork. So up next, we have a video breaking down Throne and Liberty's conquest battles, specifically the battle for the Boonstone. Let's get an overview of the strategic gameplay, key objectives, and how guilds must capture and hold the Boonstone to claim victory. Let's take a look.
The battlefield is set for Throne and Liberty's conquest battles, where our creators will now team up with powerful guilds in an all-out war for control over Boonstones and Riftstones. These objectives are crucial. Boonstones provide powerful buffs and territory control, while Riftstones open the door to dimensional spaces and rare rewards. Victory requires more than brute strength, it demands strategy, coordination, and the ability to adapt on the fly. As the battle begins, which guild will claim dominance with the help of our creators? Watch closely as the action unfolds in Siege the Day's conquest battles.
In the battle for the Boonstone, guilds will fight to capture and hold the Boonstone, a key objective that will grant you powerful buffs and rewards. The guild that controls the Boonstone at the end of the battle will gain an upper hand, making this a very high-stakes PvP encounter where strategy and coordination are essential. Let's take a close look at the two guilds competing today. We have Ethereum versus Sin or Synergy as they're better known. And Ethereum, like most of you know in the chat, is the guild that I'm a part of. So I'm not going to sell our praises. I'll let Cannon, who for the first time is going to be playing with Ethereum and not against Ethereum, I'll let you talk on that a little bit, Cannon, this matchup today.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why you want me to, I mean, you know what I'm going to say, right? Yeah, I'm actually excited to play alongside Ethereum. This is the first time I have played against them in Korea. They have a lot of experience, and I'm actually really excited to see this one because I know this is kind of like an all fun and games event, but this one in particular I think is going to be taken a little bit more seriously. I know it's going to be taken a little bit more seriously because this is very much an NA versus EU clash.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, whether you like them or hate them, Ethereum is absolutely one of the strongest guilds in NA. In my opinion, they are the top guild in NA. And Synergy is absolutely one of the top guilds in EU. Here's the thing. I'm no historian, but like when it comes to me and Synergy, you know, they were
some spice there.
There's a little spicy water there.
There's a little spicy water. I mean, like this is true. They were actually formed to try and take down my alliance in KR, and you know, Unfortunately for them, they never got any W's until after we retired our guild. But you know what? Maybe they can actually pull out the W against Ethereum, and if they do, I will give them my respect.
Oh, so bragging rights on the line.
And respect.
You know, region pride on the line. There's a lot of, heated conversations. EU better than NA, NA better than EU. There's a very few opportunities where we're going to see a battle of this sort of scale. And regions sort of fighting against each other. I mean, we saw it a little bit on the Hyperboost servers in Korea, where Ethereum, we just kind of went, it was like the Grim Reaper, we were just knocking on doors, and we didn't lose any of our stones, we won the siege. So there's a lot riding for EU here to kind of take down the big bad NA guild to show that, they can go pound for pound. So I think it's, aside from the synergy cannon, spicy water as we called it, there's just a lot of pride on both sides, and I'm expecting a phenomenal competition between both guilds.
Yeah, I really am too. Like, my story with them is kind of old news, but I think this is really the new narrative right now, because I think the reality is, I'm not speaking on behalf of anyone here, but this may be the only time we get to actually see an NA versus EU. We know the gear is balanced. We know the numbers are even. I mean, this is going to be great. I'm actually really excited. And jokes aside, I'm excited. Yeah.
It will be cinema, as they say.
It will be.
Well, I believe we have a poll.
Yeah.
Yes, another poll for the chat to participate in, which I really like to see where they're leaning on all of this. Because I feel like we have two tug-of-war situations. Do you think, is it going to be NA or is it going to be EU?
Yeah, so Team A, we have Shroud, Bearkey, and Cannon teaming up with Ethereum to fight for the Boonstone. And Team B, again, we'll have Stoops fighting his buddy, Genticles and Lyric joining up with Synergy to fight in this epic battle. Looks like the chat is spamming. It's A and B, chat. A and B. A for Ethereum, B for Synergy. Get your votes in. It looks like spam the emotes as well. You have the Ethereum emotes and the Synergy emotes. Spam those emotes so we can pull this rope one way or another, but so far it does look like Ethereum. It's all about Ethereum, it looks like right now, but the chat is absolutely going crazy right now.
Yeah,
I feel like it froze on our side a couple times because you guys are going bonkers in the chat.
I love it. Well, the people have spoken. Now let's see which team and their guild will secure the victory in the conquest battle.
Oh, and they're already fighting. We're just going to jump right into it. They started the war on top of each other, and we have two different sides here. Just absolutely, it's a meat grinder between both teams. And look at this. The high ground is so important. This is going to look crazy on your side. And it looks like, if I'm not mistaken, the green team here is a Synergy, and the red side is Ethereum. And it looks like they're actually losing this initial engage from Synergy, and Synergy actually has captured the Boonstone, and if you look on the right side of your screen, 2 minutes and 35 seconds, they will actually control. It looks like Ethereum's regrouping on this bridge here to the right side. They want to kind of pull Synergy away from that house, away from that high ground. They're going to be staying on top of the Boonstone. Looks like they all get mass slept here, which could be detrimental. We see the engage on top of it from Synergy, and here come the cavalry as they're going to come through and try to clean up some kills. We have a ton of AoE on both sides. These blue puddles you see are frost smoke screen, which will slow you if you walk through it, and we see people getting knocked up from the tornadoes. Synergy is losing this engagement, looks like, with the reinforcements coming back from Ethereum. I'm not sure if they used any of the guild skills. Both guilds have access to a guild summon gate as well as guild resurrection stone, which they can use to get back into the fight faster. Look at this here on the right side of your screen. The Ethereum team is spinning the flag back in their favor, and the Ethereum guild has started conquest of this Boonstone. So for 2 minutes and 50 seconds, they must control the Boonstone and make sure Synergy doesn't touch it and doesn't spin it back, and they will actually occupy it. But the more important thing is that if you do want to get some flashy cosmetics, because everybody knows the true end game in MMOs is fashion, you can jump in and grab one of these early access packs and get decked out and look sharp as you are fighting for your first Boonstone in the global servers. So it looks like Synergy is going to be regrouping. Ethereum has some scouts running back and forth to try to figure out where are they coming from, how many are they bringing. They don't want to get caught like they did earlier on the initial engage, where they actually got pushed off the house. They did a very good job of repositioning and pulling Synergy away from that high ground advantage, but it looks like now They are going to be posturing in front of this puddle, and Synergy is going to come down from the rope on the top here. It gives you a little bit of a grapple. They're going to fly in. Looks like they're going to wrap and come towards the front of Greyclaw Forest. I think Alec is making Cannon laugh there in the corner, as he does in his shot caller fashion. It looks like Synergy is going to take a beat. They're going to regroup. They want to find a good, favorable engage here between Synergy and Ethereum. It looks like they're actually pushing here through the main entrance, trying to find a way in where they won't get slept, they won't get forced off by Ethereum. And as you can see here, Ethereum is just doing a phenomenal job of using that high ground to just poke and prod at their group. If you let the other guild push you with full strength, odds are you'll trade some casualties. But if your ranged DPS do a phenomenal job of poking them before they can push in, you'll have a situation like this, where it looks like Synergy's not pushing in at high numbers. And look at this disengage from Ethereum. They're like, whoa, we do not want to fight in that choke. And then boom, they turn around and they're right back in there. And look at that huge CC clump as Synergy just hit a stone wall. They are not able to move forward. A beautiful Vortex Arrow from one of the bow players on Synergy, able to knock up Ethereum, get a bigger foothold into the engage here, but it looks like Ethereum is already in their back line, and this is what I like to call a front to back. Watch in a couple seconds, Ethereum will turn around and clean up what is in their main ball. And here they come now. The tanks who have made space are now turning around, and they're going to clean up the Synergy players in their main ball. With 40 seconds left on the cap, it looks like Ethereum has very good control of Greyclaw Forest here, and it looks like Synergy might have to figure out a different way to push in, but they're still brawling. Synergy said, hey, Brenton, we're not done yet, buddy, all right? And they're still brawling here at the main gates. If I'm Apples, if I'm Synergy's leader, I'm telling them to pick off as many as they can so Synergy can regroup and they can take another push. Because if you're just pushing in short-handed, it's going to be really tough to reclaim territory, and it looks like Synergy will get wiped here. And now they're going to just talk about a little bit in their, in their comms about how to repush again. I see Odin the Destroyer, tanks in Liberty in large scale. It is what it is. LXQ just got his hairline back. Please tell me how to do that. I've been trying for many years. And
it's not going to happen.
Zahemo is having a blast in the
chat.
chat.
Not gonna happen.
Chat, who do you think's going to win now that you've seen a couple of the engages? Are we still Team Ethereum, or do we think Synergy's going to pull out a little trick up their sleeve and maybe push from a different angle, maybe use the grapple point to kind of catch Ethereum off guard?
So can you talk me through those different vantage points? The grapple, we have yet to see it. You mentioned it before, and is that something that you would do on initial? Because we just went straight into chaos.
Yeah, that's how Boonstones start. Both guilds are just jumping on each other. But we're in Cannon's POV now, and we can actually see how he's going to choose to engage. It looks like Cannon's actually going to try to find one of the players here, and this is what you call, teasing the neutral. There's a little dead zone in the middle where you don't want to do it, and Cannon is going to pop the orange morph, give you guys a little bit of showmanship here.
Naranja.
But right after that fence is kind of the dead zone. If you go in there, like you see this member here who's getting pelted by frost shards and bows and fireballs, that's where you don't want to be. Both guilds are just going to tease the neutral to try to figure out what they can do and how they can engage this. And here comes the engage now. They're just going to kind of take it to Synergy. Cannon's charging up that flash wave. Actually, it's a Vortex Arrow first. He's going to knock up a couple people here, but looks like they're going to pull back. They don't want to get a little too overzealous. Ethereum does have control of the Boonstone, which Synergy can just kind of go send a little stealthy in there to cap it back. And it looks like they're going to just fight in that choke. But no, looks like they're kind of just going to pull back and let Synergy come to them. So look, actually they're moving to what looks like pin 10 for the guilds, so you can actually put down pins. And this is the hook that we were talking about earlier, pal. This is a good spot to kind of engage from.
So they're just trying to get that higher ground, just to kind of scope out to see where the movement will be. Can they all just sit up there and just wait?
Yeah, technically if you're an SNS Greatsword player, you're not really doing much if you're up there, right? Because you have melee weapons. But if you're Cannon here who has a bow dagger, he can actually get a good spot. Looks like he's actually going to choose to jump down and take this engage head on. And looks like here comes another Vortex Arrow. This is actually going to knock players up if it connects, and it does. He's actually going to secure himself one kill there on one of Synergy's members. Here comes a flash wave. This is a devastating thing, but he gets silenced, and they're jumping on Cannon. I think they know he's on stream, and they want to just kill him, but he's able to stealth and get out of there. and some great comms from the side of Ethereum as they're just able to protect their backline so well. Synergy is doing a great job of putting that pressure on. Cannon gets caught, and he will die. Spam OM in the chat. Cannon dies live on stream in front of thousands of people. What else is new? But the fight goes on regardless, and Synergy is going to be fighting Ethereum, and looks like this is where Synergy can actually get some momentum back. Ethereum's on the back foot. They're pulling back. They want to kind of reset now, and again, tease the neutral. It's almost like a fighting game where if you overextend first, you can get caught with a sleep. And as you can see on the right side of your screen, there's about 10 people from Ethereum who got slept. Just no ability to counter-engage from Synergy because the front line of Ethereum is doing such a good job of creating that safety net for the back line.
He needs the power of the naranja.
Oh, you're gonna have to explain that one to me.
The
orange, yeah.
Yes, everyone's going crazy in the chat. My Spanish folks know what's up.
Yeah, I mean, look, again, a beautiful sleep by Synergy. If they're doing one thing well and they need to capitalize on, it's these sleep engages. They're able to get Ethereum caught with these sleeps, but the tanks from Ethereum are just doing such a good job of creating space and not allowing Synergy to capitalize on it. And if you fought Ethereum on any of the Korean fights, you know how much they kind of just jump at the fact of engaging over top of sleeps. And I think that they're getting a little bit of a taste of their own medicine in this conquest battle here today. And that, again, we're just going to reset. We're going to tease the neutral. There's about 10 minutes left in this fight.
Cannon has gone very quiet.
Yeah, Cannon's gone quiet. I think he got a little shy that he died in front of all of you at home.
Oh, okay.
I lagged.
He lagged.
I lagged.
Chat, he lagged. All right. We're starting the PvP cope already in the chat in the studio here today. And Synergy now, they maybe have time for one, maybe two more pushes before time elapses, but they are able to try to pinpoint kind of weak spots. You saw that they were able to kind of wrap around that house there. They were able to execute Cannon. They were able to execute some of the DPS players from Ethereum, but just as quickly as they were able to do that, they were peeled off of by the tanks from Ethereum. So it looks like there's going to be a little bit of an engage here. We see the orange rolling around. We actually see a lime running around as well.
Yeah, I saw the lime.
Which, if you didn't know, these are cosmetic morphs that you can turn into in the game. You can unlock them through playing the game. You can unlock them through various battle passes.
So fun.
They're just cute little morphs. Sometimes you use it to BM your opponents, which might be the case here. Other times you just use it to kind of have fun, take some cool screenshots with your friends. So, yeah, it looks like the people in the chat know exactly what you're talking about.
It's my Spanish people.
Yeah, there it is. Thank you, Sac New World.
Vamos, chicos.
Yeah, there it is. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And it looks like, yeah, we're breaking the 10-minute mark here. And it is a pretty even fight, even though Synergy hasn't been able to touch the stone since that initial engage. Look at that sleep. Everyone from Ethereum is just caught, locked down. There's just no follow-up from Synergy because the tanks are doing such a good job of creating that space. So whoever in the chat was saying tanks and Liberty, you might be right. And here comes the engage from Ethereum. They're just going to say, you know what, hold my beer, I'm on my way. And they're going to just run it down into Synergy. Look at this engage, flash wave after flash wave after flash wave. It's just a ton of AoE damage, and if you're caught in there and you're not a tank, odds are before you blink, you're dead. And that's kind of the name of the game. You were talking about it earlier, pal, is the positioning. It's super important that you're positioning where you're safe if you're not a tank player, because stuff like this could happen where you just got caught in the choke as your guild tried to disengage, and now Synergy's, remnants, what's left of their main ball, they're just able to farm those kills, and they'll be able to kind of regroup faster. See that little reticle with the arrow pointing up? Synergy just popped one of their guild skills to give their entire guild increased range. This also works for melee. This also works for hooks. This also works, as you would assume, for bow attacks, staff attacks, and crossbow attacks. So now they don't have to get as up close and personal with Ethereum as they otherwise would, and they're able to kind of poke and fight against the defenders here a little bit more safe.
Yeah, I mean, Cannon's gone quiet, which is,
means he's locked in.
Very locked in.
Yeah.
What would you say would be kind of the defining point here? What can they do to, gain ground right here?
The only thing they can really do is they need to force Ethereum to scramble, and the only way to do that is you might have to split your ball into two. Send one on the grapple point, one through the main choke, and then you send an advisor, which is your second in command or third in command for your guild, and a couple stealthies to the stone to spin the stone. Then Ethereum's going to have to make a choice. Do we fight you on the main gate? Do we fight you at the hook? Or do we go back and try to recap our stone? So that's the only way. You got to kind of split their numbers. Ethereum works better as a unit. And Alec, he runs a very tight ship, Alec being the guild leader of Ethereum. And as you can see, they move really well together. So if you kind of eliminate that cohesion and you make them kind of think on their feet a little bit more and not let them run their own game, that's where you'll kind of gain the momentum to get back into this. But as we can see here, in Ethereum fashion, the AoE sleep, and there's the engage right on top. If you get slept and there's more than 10 of you getting slept, you can very much expect 5 to 10 tanks flying over the top rope. And as we see here, a great counter engage from Synergy though, able to slow down the push with those Vortex arrows. And look, Ethereum's actually pulling back. They're like, whoa, maybe we don't want to commit to this. That was a really good Vortex arrow from one of the boat players on the side of Synergy. They were able to kind of put the brakes on for Ethereum. And now Ethereum's going to pull back. They're going to regain control. They're going to top each other off. And they're going to be ready to get back into it. There's only about 7 minutes left in this Boonstone, and it's been a very even fight. There's only been, I believe, 2 full guild wipes, where the initial one was kind of half a guild wipe, but it looks like Ethereum's just jumping over it, and this is the ego push. You can expect this from a guild like Ethereum, but what's a little bit cuter than ego pushes?
What?
Amatoids. I love Amatoids.
Amatoids?
And you can link your Amazon Games ID by scanning this QR code, and you get 2 free Amatoids. And this is completely free. There's no purchase required. You scan it, link your Xbox, PlayStation, or Steam account to your Amazon Games ID. Make sure you do it before launch so you can take advantage of these Amatoids. But look at this. Ethereum, the entire ball is slept here on the bottom left of your screen. But again, look at the tanks coming on the other side, cutting off the push. If you're a guild leader and you want to kind of move your tanks around and you want to learn how to counter engage and stop the enemy, that was a textbook example. A lot of Ethereum got slept, but the ones who didn't kind of body block, they set up a wall, and they let the sleep elapse so that the rest of the backline can rejoin the fight.
We are not, we don't have a lot of time here. I mean, what would you say that could be the deciding factor? What would be the last moment here that they could do?
They have to just regroup. They're fighting a little bit shorthanded, it looks like. For those of you at home who don't know, guilds are capped at 70 players, and Boonstones are 70 versus 70. You cannot bring more, but you can bring less. Both guilds here are at full capacity. They are fighting, even numbers, but the run back is from the town Kanina Village, I believe, or Kana Village, and it looks like we have a little bit of a skirmish here, but this is kind of not what you want to do with your Synergy, because you're going to lose some players, they're going to have to run back, and there's only about 5 minutes left. For Ethereum, this is textbook exactly what you want. They're sending a bunch of people up. They don't care if they lose 5 or 10, because if they lose 5 or 10, and they kill 5 or 10, they still have control of the stone, and it's up to Synergy to overtake them, spin the stone back, and then defend it for 3 minutes. That's actually... Contrary to Rift Stones, Boonstones can go into overtime.
Okay.
So if, right now, the occupying guild being Ethereum, if they lose control of the stone, and Synergy caps it, and that timer starts for 3 minutes, and the time elapses on the actual war,
that's Korean.
Well, then it'll go into overtime, and the Ethereum either has to cap it back, or if Synergy manages to rope the stone all the way to 0, they will win the stone. So while it does say there's 5 minutes left on the clock, there could be an extra 3, and it looks like Synergy is going to be poking up here. This is Cannon's POV once again with a beautiful flash wave. Look at those damage numbers. If you're an AoE enjoyer, you're probably going to want to play bow somewhere in your build, because in large scale, flash wave like that is super oppressive. Cannon's, ducking and diving, trying to poke and prod, not going to get caught. But look! The flank from Synergy. What a beautiful flank. This is exactly what they have to do. They need to split their ball. There's a small group behind that's going to force some of Ethereum back, but I don't think it's enough for them to really shake things up, as it looks like the initial engage was already on the losing side for Synergy, and they're just unable to kind of pull that rope or that momentum back into the corner.
I mean, we're seeing different kind of strategies come through in this just short amount of time. It just shows you what can actually happen if you kind of strategize really quickly with your team. You send a flank, team to the back line, catch them off guard. I mean, this is so exciting to see for the first time. How are you feeling, coming into this matchup?
Listen, I'm going to be pretty biased here. I'm proud of my boys.
Okay.
I'm proud of Ethereum. I knew it was going to be a slugfest. Synergy is no joke. But I am very proud of how Ethereum is performing so far. Cannon seems to be meshing well with them. He's giggling like a little kid in a candy store over there on his side of the room. So I think he's having a blast too. And I hope all of you at home are enjoying this as well. Synergy is putting up a good fight. Looks like some of those players are actually recalling away.
Okay.
And this is a good call here from Apples or whoever is shot calling for Synergy, is that they're pulling their entire guild back. They might have dropped the summon gate, and they're going to try to regroup and catch Ethereum by surprise, because that's the only way they're going to be able to kind of gain control of this stone. If they keep meeting Ethereum toe-to-toe, it just looks like that front line of Ethereum is quite literally impenetrable. They're able to flank, but they're not able to really do much. And it looks like they're all here on the hillside in the house, and this is a great spot to be if you're Synergy. But look, someone from Ethereum jumps up on the house, sleeps that entire house, and now you can kind of safely push up, and you don't have to worry about getting pelted from all those mages on the roof. And it looks like that's exactly what Ethereum is going to do. Flash wave after flash wave coming through. The tank on the roof knocking people off. This is exactly what large-scale combat looks like in Throne and Liberty. You have a lot of individual agency as a player, but it's all about how you work together with your guild and you understand your role as a player to make its impact here. There's about 2.5 minutes left. Looks like Synergy is finally able to claw some space back. And look, we actually have someone trying to cap here, but he does get interrupted. And this is the pressure that Synergy needs to put on. So Ethereum can never really kind of take a beat to breathe, because then they can kind of just discuss, they can move people around. But if you're just constantly pressuring them, they have to continue to think on their feet.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of time left. Decisions need to be made.
Yeah, there's not a lot of time left whatsoever. We're at the 2-minute warning. If we blow the whistle here a little bit, but it looks like Synergy is now finally using the high ground, and this is exactly what they need to do, because if you noticed on that first engage where they were able to push Ethereum back, they had good use of that high ground, and it looks like that's what they're trying to do here. We have another person trying to cap as well. He's actually over halfway done the cap, but he does get interrupted, and that's where the call is going to be that tanks are probably going to sit on that stone, try to stun, try to pull, try to taunt, try to just make sure no one can touch the stone for the next minute. Because as I mentioned, contrary to Rift Stones, these can go into overtime. And the last thing you want is you don't want to dominate for 20 minutes to lose in the last 2. And it looks like the cap actually might happen here. And at 85%, what looks like it stopped. And here's where you call spinning the flag. So on both sides, if Synergy is just trying to spin the flag, just trying to cap it, Ethereum is just trying to stop them. Strategy goes out the window. All you're going to hear is spin the flag, AoE the flag. And this is where the chaos of an event like this happens within the final minute. This is where everyone gets turned up to 11. And again, we're almost down to cap, and it looks like they actually might cap it. They do, they flip the stone, so we're gonna be going into overtime unless Ethereum, within the next 50 seconds, can spin the stone back. This is exactly what you want as Synergy. Now Synergy can kind of capitalize on this and continue to wipe Ethereum, but now it's up to Ethereum to spin the stone back, either before time is up or in overtime. If they flip it in overtime, then they just cap the stone. But if they flip it back now, then once time elapsed, they will cap the stone. So
flip. We have 25 seconds.
Yeah, I don't think Alec knew that they flipped the stone back, because Cannon's yelling at him, and they're now scrambling to get back.
Here, man.
Look at that huge sleep though from Ethereum. But I don't know if they have the numbers to engage on top of this. There's only 9 seconds left. This stone should go into overtime, and there's about 2 minutes left. If Synergy can hold this for 2 minutes, they will win the Boonstone. We're now in overtime. There's no more timer. All you see here is 2 minutes. There's 2 minutes now. If Synergy can hold, they will win. But all Ethereum needs to do is flip the stone. If Ethereum can flip the stone, they are going to win this Boonstone war. I don't think Ethereum even knew that the stone was flipped. Thankfully, Cannon was able to take a look at it, but there's only 2 minutes left. And it looks like there's a lot of green. I see a lot of Synergy, but look, Ethereum looks to be coming back, and the hard part is flipping it back. The hard part is actually getting a cap off, and it looks like, I don't know where Ethereum even is. I'm not sure how much time is left, but we might be in the final minute. And it looks like here, a minute and a half left. This is insane. Chaos and Liberty is right. But this is kind of where they need to get onto the stone and flip it. This is textbook Boonstone Wars. And here comes Ethereum. I see a lot of red now. There is a minute left. One last coordinated push to try to force Synergy off the stone and cap it. There's 60 seconds left, ladies and gentlemen. 60 seconds left to crown your first Conquest Battle winner here in this day. And look, here they're trying to flip it. They get interrupted. Trying to flip it. Ooh. Oh, on the edge of my seat, on the edge of my seat, on the edge of my seat. They get interrupted. It's a long channel.
Let's go.
It's a long channel. They're trying to flip it. Oh.
Tornado.
Oh.
We got it.
They managed to win the Boonstone back. Ethereum
it's over.
In the last 20 seconds of the Stone War are able to flip it back. I'm not gonna lie, it's not that hot in the studio.
Yeah,
but I'm sweating.
Oh,
I am absolutely sweating. What an insane match.
That was so intense.
GG's in the chat.
Wow.
Both guilds just absolutely popped off. You know me as someone who yaps a lot. I'm speechless.
You're speechless. I'm just edge of my seat. I mean, it was just going back and forth. I don't think they knew that was going to happen so sneakily.
And that's exactly what we were saying halfway through the stone is they need to just spin it.
Yeah.
Because there's so much chaos.
Sure.
And there's only, let me do math here, 3, 4, I believe 7 people in the entire guild who can flip the stone.
Okay.
The guild leader, the 2 guild advisors, and I believe, chat correct me if I'm wrong, there's 4 guardians that you can have. So these are your guild officers, and they're the only ones who can actually manually go and press, interact with the stone to flip it. So I think throughout the whole chaos, no one on Ethereum's side knew the stone got flipped. And like I mentioned, 10% of your guild being the only people who can flip it. So, Cannon, I'm going to loop you in here because I feel like you put Ethereum on your back a little bit at the end. Phenomenal coordination from both you and Ethereum, as well as the other creators and Synergy. That was a phenomenal showing. How do you feel after that?
Oh, dude, honestly, that was, first and foremost, I think that was a great showing. I think Synergy really did actually make a strong push there towards the end. I got to shout out Alec here. I know you guys didn't hear the comms for Ethereum, but I mean, it was pretty humorous, but the calls were really good.
Oh, I know.
The calls were really good. They definitely are worthy of that top, champion title. When it comes to the guilds in NA. But I'm a little bit at a loss of words because I know some of you guys watching at home, you may not, I feel like a lot of people that just haven't really played the game. It's like maybe you couldn't really appreciate what was happening because it was very subtle. Right? It's very chaos. There's different POVs, and essentially what happened is that there's a stone. There's that flag, right? And you have to interact with it, and it's kind of like King of the Hill where you just flip it. You flip it and you flip it back. That's in production. What are you doing? And it really did come to the last second. So there was an overtime play. And I don't know what else to say other than the fact that it really did, if you missed it, it really did come down to the last second. Synergy flipped it. Yeah. And we were able to flip it back. At the last point, like we were just really trying to spam all of our AoEs
sleep bomb from Synergy.
Yeah, it was close.
I have a question though, because obviously I know how Alex shot calls. You now experienced it. Synergy did a very good job of sleeping like 30 to 40 people from Ethereum consistently. But it looked like the tanks from Ethereum were just like, yeah, we don't care. We're just going to keep them at bay. You guys can just sit to sleep and it's all fine.
Yeah, so Alec actually was implementing a push and fake strategy quite a bit. Yeah. That was really good. So we weren't really hard affected by some of those sleep bombs because they burned a lot of their buffs. So we would kind of go in there, fake engage, pull back, make sure that all of their buffs are gone, and then when they engage on us, we get full buffed, so the sleep bombs were a little bit less effective. Obviously, this wasn't something that we did constantly, but this was a play that we that Alec had, that the guild leader for Ethereum, who was shot calling, he implemented that strategy quite a bit, and I really feel like it probably was the difference when it comes.
Yeah, Alec is very good. I mean, I've obviously participated and co-shot called, backup shot called, whatever you want to call it, with Alec, and he very much loves that strategy. Let's go in, force their buffs, pull out, and engage on our terms. But it looked like, again, at the end there was a lot of that happening, and because of that, Synergy's like, all right, cool, we'll just flip the stone. Now you guys have to come fight us. Right. And that was a phenomenal call. I don't know who calls for Synergy. I'm not sure if it's Apples or one of his officers, but that was a really good showing of what a Boonstone War actually is, because Rift Stones don't go into overtime. There is a different way to capture the Riftstone, which we'll talk about a little bit more tomorrow. And that is the premier guild versus guild, a top NA guild and a top EU guild, going head to head. But we might not see that again. I hope we do. So if you're listening at home, NCSoft or Amazon, more of these events are great because I love seeing inter-region play. But for today, NA is on top. Miles, inches, and cups, baby. Let's go.
Oh, all right. Well, coming up next, we'll dive into Castle Siege, the ultimate PvP showdown where creators and guilds will battle for control for the Stoneguard Castle. Expect intense combat, strategic plays, and epic moments as guilds clash for the throne. Don't go anywhere. We'll see which team will claim the victory at the Stoneguard Castle in this massive siege right after this.
Elysium is a dangerous world. Hordes of demons, dangerous terrain, and even other hostile players could be lurking around every corner. There's safety and community in numbers, so join or create your own guild. Guild membership grants you access to a long list of bonuses and makes it easier to participate in server-wide activities. You can access special shops and supplies, additional resources, extra raids, conquest battles, and massive PvP castle sieges. Guilds are an important part of the Throne and Liberty experience. You're able to join a guild early on during your adventures. The sooner you join, the sooner you can take advantage of all the benefits guild membership has to offer. But first, you've got to find a guild. The in-game UI makes searching for a guild easy. More casual guilds may be open to any and all players, while more hardcore PvP and PvE guilds may require approval by guild leadership. You'll need your resume, 3 forms of identification, and... just kidding. Each guild will have its own requirements for membership, so make sure you know what you're signing up for. Don't forget to check out the recruiting channel in the official Discord to see what the community has to offer. Joining a guild in Throne and Liberty grants you access to exciting and challenging new activities. Contributing towards each guild's contract nets both you and your guild reputation, rewards, and resources. Capturing boonstones grants you vital buffs, while riftstones allow the controlling guild to summon a world boss who can drop powerful gear. But laying siege to an enemy castle is the ultimate way for a guild to claim the throne and the rewards it offers. By now, you're a member of a guild. You're organized, you've got the gear, and conquered the dungeons. Group up with hundreds of guild and alliance mates to claim the throne. Siege golems are a must-have for any serious invading force. You can transform into these massive stone monsters by purchasing the materials from the guild merchant. On the topic of serious forces, in any guild worth their salt, the guild leader calls the shots, their officers support them with strong tactics, and members execute the guild's plans to achieve shared goals. From the earliest levels to the endgame, guild membership in Throne and Liberty offers countless benefits. So log in, join up, and claim the throne.
Long ago, the star of Siliveth shattered. Its fragments spread across the land, granting immense power to a lucky few. But where there is light, there is also darkness. Malevolent forces have arisen, seeking to claim the power of the stars for themselves. You must harness this celestial power. Fight back against the Archaeum Legion and free our world. Elysium is a vast, living, breathing open world with diverse environments to explore and deadly enemies to defeat. Shapeshift into legendary creatures to carry you through the air and over the waves. Push back against the Legion in tactical combat across a seamless world. Take up arms and join others as you fight alongside fellow guild members. As your skill grows, you'll unlock powerful new abilities. Adjust your fighting style to counter your enemies. Use ranged attacks to draw your enemies in. Then swap to hard-hitting melee to finish them off. The Legion isn't the only enemy you'll need to fight. Battle other players in PvP dungeons. Player-controlled castle sieges, open-world combat, In conquest battles for territory, gather your guild. Prepare for battle and claim the throne.
Siege the Day, the 2 action-packed days with creators and guilds from North America, Europe competing in a 3v3 arena, conquest battles, and castle sieges.
After that break, I was able to get some air, and we've seen some thrilling arena matches and probably the most intense battle for the Boonstone I've ever seen in today's conquest battle.
Amazing.
But before we jump into the castle siege, I'd like to take a moment to remind everybody at home that Throne and Liberty isn't just about PvP. The developers really thought of everyone when they were developing this game, and throughout its history in Korea have been adding more and more PvE elements to the game. So if you're at home and you're just watching, supporting your favorite creator or your friends and guilds, but you're not really someone who's super into PvP, this game has got you covered. So everyone talks about these big world boss fights, these big world boss PvP fights, but they do also spawn in what's called peace. So you can just go in with your guild or your friends, fight that same world boss that just a couple days ago big guild alliances were fighting over, and you can still get that loot. But if you're someone who wants more of a traditional PvE experience, this game offers you instance dungeons as well. So while you're leveling, you'll have a few dungeons that you can explore, and then at level 50, once you're farming your endgame gear, you'll be able to spend, quite a bit of time in these instance dungeons with your friends in your guild. And maybe, you'll create some bitter rivalries in these dungeons as well, but you'll be able to earn loot and then sell that on the market for Lucent or keep it to upgrade your character. And I know there's a lot of people in these types of video games that love open world mob grinding. NCSoft has got you covered there as well. So there are open world dungeons such as Sileus Abyss as well as Shadow Crypt that offer multiple different floors of mobs and mini bosses that you can go in throughout the day and just grind and grind until you run out of will to grind. Just be careful though, because at nighttime those open world dungeons lock and they become a PvP zone. But let's talk about the really important content in the game. Life skilling. This game's got fishing, this game's got cooking, and this game has something called Amatoy Expeditions, where you can send your cute little Amatoys off to gather materials for you. And as someone like myself, who, as we just saw, a very action-packed, adrenaline-filled Boonstone battle, nothing's better than sitting next to the Boonstone you just capped, casting a line, and just fishing to your heart's content. PvE content really is perfect for everyone who wants to either explore epic boss battles or uncover the game's vast lore, or as we saw earlier today, just explore the beautiful world of Cilicium.
You had me at fishing. I'm that type of player that as soon as a game has fishing, I'm sold. Cooking is pretty cool too. If we are going to explore cooking, if you are listening, I would love a cookbook, maybe a recipe for pancakes.
Oh.
It, gives you some
You're allowed
extra.
to be biased, I guess. Yeah.
No, it's just fun, just giving some ideas out there. But yeah, let's hear from our NCSoft developers as they dive into the exciting PvE elements of Throne and Liberty.
여러 가지 성향의 유저들한테 하나에 집중하기보다는 어떻게 보면 이것저것 여러 가지의 다양성을 가지고 있기 때문에 다 만족시키지 못할 수도 있지만 결국엔 저는 골고루 다양한 성향의 분들이 다양한 형태로 게임을 즐길 수 있는 MMO를 만들고 싶었고, 그래서 저희는 이제 전투라는 부분에서만 집중하지 않고 생활형 컨텐츠와 같은 부분들도 저희가 채워서 이번에 출시를 하게 되는 것 같습니다. 저는 이제 PVE 성향의 게임 유저이고, 저희 이제 싱글 플레이를 하라는 그 컨텐츠가 있어요. 그 타이다리 탑이라고 하는 싱글 컨텐츠, 어떤 층을 계속해서 돌파하면서 어떤 미션을 달성하는 부분인데, 거기에서 되게 HP가 서로 적게 아주 조금 남았을 때까지 타이트한 어떤 경기가 일어나다가 맨 마지막에 승리를 했을 때의 희열이 제가 저희 TN을 느꼈을 때 되게 희열을 느꼈던 포인트 같습니다.
Hello?
So what'd you think of that?
Yeah, they actually were able to showcase something called Taydal's Tower as well, which is a multi-floor. I believe there's 20 or so floors on the tower, where it's just you go in solo, you fight a boss, and you collect rewards. It used to be something that you only did once, and the boss fights are pretty fun. So what they did is they actually created weekly contracts that you can get, and it'll send you back into 3 different floors, random floors every week. There's also another thing in the game called Gate of Infinity, which they kind of take the Taydal Tower bosses, they add a bit of, damage and scale it up to a max level character, and then you kind of speedrun that boss. So I know there's a big speedrunning community out in the gaming world. We were seeing kills sometimes as sub 20 seconds for certain weapon combos, where they're just able to get in, execute a perfect rotation, and rank on the leaderboard. And if you finish within the top 10 of your respective weapon combination, so for example, SNS Dagger, my baby, you'll then collect some rewards. Some of them are emotes, some of them are Solent, which is the free, just the silver-like currency in the game. But there's just so much PvE in this game, and they just keep adding more. So while the PvP that we're seeing today is phenomenal and exciting, the PvE is what really makes me personally stick around.
Yeah, that's very exciting. But now we have a surprise for you, a world premiere. We are going to give you guys an exclusive first look at our latest Throne and Liberty trailer. I can't wait. Let's check it out.
Throughout the ages, many kings have risen to power in the eternal fight for the throne. Our loyalty belonged to one. Unity brought peace. But ambition bred betrayal. And an evil alliance was born. Then chaos descended without warning. Terror struck without mercy. And the kingdom we called home was ravaged without remorse. We fled with our hero, vanquished, not finished. But the throne remains, forever the prize for those bold enough to claim it. The vengeance of legends, rebellions will rise, and your battles will come.
Okay, a little art, a little Renaissance into the mix.
Super interesting. It's not a traditional trailer where it's like so action-packed and gameplay-oriented. This one really kind of showed, I think in a intentional fashion, kind of the secrecy and politics that go into a castle siege or
the storyline that I know some people have yet to play, and the people that have played it has said really great things about it.
Also, probably one of the coldest outros I've ever seen in a game trailer with the 2 golems they're fighting at the end. I don't know, I'm getting really antsy myself. I'm sure the people at home are as well, but...
For an amazing thing. Well, up next, we dive into one of the most epic events in Throne and Liberty, the Castle Siege. Guilds will clash in large-scale PvP combat, battling and breaching the castle defense, claim the control of the throne room. So let's take a closer look at how these intense castle sieges unfold in Throne and Liberty.
The moment has arrived for Throne and Liberty's castle sieges. Massive battles where guilds and their allies fight for dominance. In this high-stakes PvP mode, our creators will be joining forces with guilds to either storm the castle or defend it at all costs. Attackers have 45 minutes to breach the gates and take control of the throne room. If the battle extends into overtime, an additional 3 minutes will be added to determine the victor. Siege Ruins offers strategic advantages, like teleportation and summoning siege golems, massive player-controlled units that can devastate enemy defenses. Defenders are fortified within the castle, using every available resource to hold their ground. From reinforced positions to environmental traps, like the castle's sewage system and gate levers. Victory requires strategy, coordination, and adaptability. Who will conquer the fortress, and who will be left in the dust?
Siege is the premier large-scale content in Throne and Liberty, and it is one of the most chaotic events that you'll probably experience as a Throne and Liberty player. What's super cool about Siege is that it allows multiple guilds of all different sizes to compete and fight for various different objectives throughout the castle siege. It is one of the longest PvP encounters, where usually on live servers, the event will start on the hour. There'll be a 15-minute prep phase for guilds to kind of, cross their T's and dot their I's, and then 45 minutes of absolute carnage. The castle at Stoneguard is massive. It has an outer wall, an inner wall, as well as the throne room. And as you saw in the video, there is the potential for overtime again. Only one person in your guild can interact with the throne. That is your guild leader. Once he interacts with the throne, he will get something called the Usurper buff. And the Usurper buff turns him into this big knight, and the more people from his guild that stand near him will then create a bigger buff where he takes less damage and deals more damage, and you have to hold that for 3 minutes to then flip the castle owner. So we're gonna have a bunch of different guilds and alliances and creators defending and attacking the castle. Something that's important to note is within the castle walls, there are resurrection stones and pillage points. On live servers, if you're someone who's not really part of a massive alliance, but you still want to participate in the siege, gotta listen up real quick. Pillage points are your thing. If you go and claim a pillage point once every 5 minutes, it'll register who controls that pillage point, and you will steal Lucent and Solent from the purse of the guild that wins the siege. So even if you're not in a massive alliance of 4 guilds, and you just got, you and your small community, you can still interact and maybe even mercenary yourself out to these bigger alliances to create some cool storylines. There are no siege weapons per se in Throne and Liberty, but you have the option to turn into a golem, as you saw in those videos. There are a few different types of golems. The 2 most notable ones at the beginning of the siege is the Stonecrasher and the Gatehammer. The Stonecrasher golem is the biggest golem, and your only job is to quite literally box the walls. At one point, you'll break the wall, allowing all the attackers, not just your guild, to enter the Stoneguard castle. Gatehammer is a smaller golem. It's on fire, could shoot fireballs and also punch walls, and that one's used to breach the inner gate. There are 2 other golems as well. There is the lift golem, or the battle carrier, and there's the jump attack golem. So the battle carrier will quite literally spawn a golem that's a big platform. You can grapple up there with your guild and come over top of the walls. And the jump attackers, as the name suggests, you just kind of use that to jump on the wall and beat up all the people who are defending the wall. There are sneaky ways, though, to get in the castle, and everyone loves a good, infiltration. Each gate in the castle has 2 levers. Some are located on top of the gate, some are located at the base of the gate, and you need 2 players to pull them at the same time to open the gate. We've seen storylines in the Korean servers where guilds have betrayed their alliance, opened the gate, let other people come in, where we've also seen a couple stealthies just sneak through the castle, through the carnage and the chaos, and are able to let their entire guild in. And the most important infiltration route, in my opinion, being the sewers. You're able to get through the sewers. There are rats in the sewers, and the dagger specifically has a skill called Shadow Strike, which allows you to blink and shadow step or port to one of these rats. You can't do it in succession, but give or take 20-30 seconds, and you can get someone within the castle walls to then maybe drop a summon gate for your guild and bring in your entire 70-man group. But be careful. Environment and weather conditions matter, and you don't want to be like a certain guild on Korea who ended up getting drowned in the sewers.
Oops.
Oopsie. For the upcoming siege, we're going to be having a 1v1v1 fight. There will be one guild, or one alliance I should say, defending with a creator guild, and there will be 2 on attack. Usually in a castle siege, it's a server-wide event. There is no cap, there is no instance. It's not like the Boonstone War where only 2 guilds can compete. No matter your guild size, no matter your guild's alliance, it is absolute carnage. So for today's event, it will be a little bit more of a controlled environment where we're going to have the defenders fight 2 alliances on attack. Now, I'm going to give some tips for some viewers at home. While those 2 alliances aren't allied together, there's one goal here, right? It's to claim the throne. So in certain situations, it's actually beneficial to, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, is to ally with the other attacker to breach the gates, and then once you get into that inner courtyard, is to just kind of go crazy and then free for all for the throne. The resurrection stones are the only way for non-occupying guilds to spawn inside the castle. And what I mean by that is there is one guild out of the 4 guild alliance that is holding the throne when a siege starts. That guild will always spawn inside the castle unless someone usurps the throne. The other 3 guilds that are on defense with this guild have to claim one of the 3 resurrection stones, but attackers can also jump into the castle, flip the resurrection stone, and now force some of the defending alliance to spawn outside in the carnage that is the outside of the siege. I know someone like yourself, pal.
Yeah.
You have not experienced a castle siege yet.
Well, I mean, I did get a lot of intel from you before this event, so I've seen it, and, I've seen a couple rehearsal runs, but I'm so excited to see these teams go head-to-head finally into this battle.
And I do want to take a moment here to shout out a content creator by the name of Nelly J, so NELLYJAI, who made a phenomenal video under 7 minutes long that I actually shared with Pal.
Yes.
That's how she got up to speed on Siege. So huge shout outs to Nelly J. If you want more information on Siege, as well as some, tips and tricks like I mentioned, you can definitely go check out their content. They did a phenomenal job of explaining it in a way that even someone who's never touched the game can really understand and digest.
And I think this just pays homage to a lot of new content creators that we're going to be seeing, that are going to be doing these great videos explaining not only the lore, but just, explainer videos on how to get started. I'm just ready to get my character together.
Yeah.
It's going to be a 6-hour stream, y'all.
Yeah.
Saying.
Sieges do happen quite frequently when the milestone unlocks. So the first siege might take a bit of time because the server itself has to work together to unlock these milestones. Think of them as breakpoints. And as the breakpoints continue, there'll be more content that'll unlock for the server. Once we get the siege to unlock, it'll happen every 2 weeks. Okay. So you have kind of 2 weeks to kind of go through it and really understand the intricacies of siege, and then maybe form different alliances, betray some people, little politics. Okay. Who doesn't love some drama in a PvP game? But I would love nothing more than to show you who's going to be competing in our siege today. So as I mentioned, we have a 3-way fight for the castle with 1 alliance defending and 2 alliances attacking. Each of them are fighting to claim the throne. On the red side, we have the Guardians, which is Cannon's Guild, as well as Ethereum, Moonrise, and Excelsior. Stoops will be finally joining his buddy in this one, so he's not going to be on the other side of things. The blue team, which is Shroud and Bearkey's Guild, the Legends, will team up with Focus, Royal Vanguard, and Eclipse to form Attacker Group 1. And the green side, which is the Guild of Lyric and Genticles, which are named the Hunters, will be joining up with Elysian, Apex, Lunar Inn, and Reborn to also vie for the throne.
Well, we have a 3rd poll coming up, and I want to know what you guys think on this siege day and who's going to take the throne. We have our teams, Guardians, Legends, and the Hunters. Make sure you are voting. Okay, looks like a lot of A.
Yeah, ABC chat.
It's very simple. We got this. ABC. Is it going to be the Guardians, Legends, or the Hunters? Who do you think?
I mean, I'm part of Ethereum, so
Okay.
I feel like they would terminate my employment in their guild. I'm not actually getting paid by them. That'd be cool if I didn't vote for them. But Legends actually have a lot of guilds that have been recruiting for quite some time. Excelsior, not Excelsior, excuse me, Focus, Royal Vanguard, and I believe Eclipse is also on that lineup on column B. And they have a lot of knowledge about the game. They've been working pretty hard getting prepared for the global launch. And some of those players, I know a lot of people in chat were saying, hey, the game's not launched yet. How do they really choose these guilds?
Sure.
There's been a lot of craziness and a lot of hype about this game, and these guilds have been preparing for many, many months for the global launch, and they were able to kind of snag a spot in today's events. But the chat has spoken,
Yes.
and it looks like, I don't know if it's Cannon, maybe they don't want to upset Cannon because he's in the studio, but this is the 3rd time in a row where your side's won the poll. And chat has yet to be wrong. They are currently 2-0.
So, sorry, I didn't see the poll because we were setting up for the siege.
Okay.
They voted for you.
Yeah, they voted for us.
you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean,
Hello?
Obviously, right? I mean,
You're so humble.
I mean,
it's crazy.
No, what? What are you talking about? I was gonna say because I'm with Ethereum.
Okay,
what do you mean?
That's true.
Come on.
Carry on.
Okay.
Are you trying to get?
All right. Well, you set up.
You
over
continue
there.
doing
All
yours.
right. We're setting up.
All right. Well, this battle will require teamwork, tactical mastery, and the capacity to overcome the most chaotic, vicious PvP battle man has ever known. It's time to siege the castle.
I am stoked. And it looks like here they started the timer at 45 minutes, so we are skipping that initial prep. And as you can see, all of Ethereum. Oh, we have a little bit. Oh, we got a little bit of a issue with our spectator client. It looks like this is a private build, so there is a lot of dev commands that are going back and forth.
Okay.
But it does look like there's a little bit of an issue at the beginning of the siege. They are trying to skip the prep phase.
Sure.
So a lot of times that'll, create some bugs in the client. And it looks like as they're gonna try to fix those bugs for us. Maybe the competitors were a little too excited.
Yeah.
And they broke the server.
Oh, well, don't also forget, if you're bugging out too in chat, just refresh your stream, guys.
Yeah, I know.
It's Tuesday. Everybody knows that things happen on Tuesdays. Steam's probably going mad right now.
That's true. I
Yeah.
mean, this is a good time to kind of a good time to talk on the Twitch drops and the linking your
Yes.
Amazon. I saw a lot of questions in chat regarding, hey, I already linked my Steam account to my Amazon Games ID. I don't have my Amatoys. What's going on? Don't worry, you're not going to get them until the game actually officially launches on the 1st. So as long as you're on that profile and you look at your own profile and you see, Grenton, my Steam name linked with my Amazon Games ID, you're all set. And that's kind of the same thing for the Twitch drops, which there's only 2 for today. The Twitch drops, as you can see, there's the Siege of the Day title and the Great Fanged Figment. When the game releases, we're going to have that as a kind of,
As a
pity
goodie.
for you to come back and get it. We'll allow you to kind of come back and get it. But
Wait, I just want that Amatory, that he's got a fang on his neck. It wasn't his teeth.
yeah.
Did you notice that?
Yeah,
Okay.
he has a little tooth on his. I got some teeth on my neck.
Your fangs?
Yeah.
So I have to know, who is your favorite Amatory thus far?
So it's the Shadow Mischief one from the early access pack.
Ooh.
It's the one with the little helmet and the purple horns.
Okay.
I'm an edgy boy. I'm playing SNS Dagger not because it's good, but because it's edgy. So I'd love to just kind of go over into some gameplay while we wait for the servers to get set up again.
Okay.
And just kind of talk you through what's going on in some of these sieges, because it does get a little bit chaotic. So I think it's valuable for the viewers at home to kind of just understand what chaos looks like. Because whatever you saw in that Boonstone is going to be 10, 20 folded in a castle siege. And as you can see, this is the Stone Crasher Golem. So this golem is a massive golem. You could actually just use it to kind of break down the wall. Anyone in your guild, I believe, can just jump to the golem. This fire one here is the Gate Crasher that I was talking about earlier.
Yep.
You can use it to break, used for the inner wall, because as you can see, this big boy probably not making it to the inner gate.
Big boy Bok Choy.
Yeah, he's a big boy. But as you can see here, they are fighting close to the inner gate. This is the inner gate, and someone actually managed to open the levers. And then this is the fight inside the throne room. So there's a lot of chaos going on. There's going to be a bunch of different opportunities for guilds to kind of strategize, betray each other, ally with each other, and that right there is what the usurper buff looks like. And I believe everybody is ready, and we're going to be jumping into we're going to be jumping into Golem, so I could talk to you a little bit more about them. And this one here is the Lift Golem.
Okay,
little
so
taxi service.
Yes, I like it. He's my Uber.
Yeah, as you can see, everyone's grappling up. But what's cool about it is the enemy can also grapple up.
Oh no!
And as you saw there, they kind of just got,
It didn't
rinsed,
work. It didn't work
for
out.
lack of a better word. And this is kind of where the Gate Crasher spawns, or not spawns, but this is where he shines. And that Gate Crasher, as you saw, he can shoot a fireball. He can also do an AoE damage for people around him. So his health actually decreases per second because you're on fire.
Okay.
So there's only a limited amount of time you can be in each of these golems. You can't just sit in the golem forever. At one point, it's going to kick you out, or if they do manage to kill the golem.
So you can't just like run around. You need to like have a plan.
You have a purpose.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you can run around, but you might be kind of griefing your alliance a little bit. Like if you just take the jumper golem and you're like, I'm gonna go to Vienta Village, I'm not gonna do the siege, you know? It's kind of a little bit of a silly quip. Back in the day, there was actually defending guilds who would drop alliances during siege, take the golem, and then just sit there with the golem. But NCSoft was like, that's not how we want sieges to happen. So they prevented guilds from dropping and joining alliances during sieges to avoid that from happening. So there's a lot of, again, moving parts in the sieges. But as I mentioned earlier, for the Amazon Games ID, you have to do this before launch. So make sure you scan the QR code, link whatever platform you're playing on, Steam, PlayStation, or Xbox, to your Amazon Games ID so you don't miss out on 2 free Amatoys, because once again, they're free.
Get it.
In the collection book, they will give you a bonus to the Solent you gain, the experience you get, as well as you level up to 50. So it's a free way to gain a little bit of power, but more importantly, gain some cute pets.
So I want to know, going back to the golems, like, who's your favorite? And not to be, you know, obviously there's different strategies for each one. Would you say that there's one that you always just love to just focus on first?
So I've piloted every golem except for the battlecruiser one, because the battlecruiser one is usually just put someone in there and people jump on him and he walks to the wall and that's it, right?
Sure.
The gate hammer for me personally is my favorite one because it gives you a little bit of ranged with the fireball, and people don't really want to stand around you. And the kills you get while you're in the golem actually count for your score line at the end. So it's like a cheeky way to farm some kills, which is, I mean, why else are we playing a PvP game if we don't want to see our kill-death assist ratio at the end of a siege?
Yes.
So it's a cool way to just kind of farm the unsuspecting foot soldiers that are around you in the gate hammer golem. And it's also the only consistent way to breach that inner gate.
So what would you say are the how-tos and maybe not what to do with your golem? Obviously, we don't want to wait.
Just box it until it opens. And the gate hammer golem can also help with that. That's the fire golem. But it's more used for once the outer gate is breached, you kind of walk him down the main choke, the main hallway, if you call it, to the inner gate, and you'll use that. The jumper golem is probably the one where you have the most agency, where you'll jump on top of the wall, you'll jump in the courtyard, and you can actually create some chaos that way, which is super cool because the jumper golems, they jump. It's not just a little hop. They can jump on top of walls, on top of houses, and they can kind of create some chaos. I do want to just, show one strategy that is a little bit unknown. I did mention earlier you can ride the whale, and not only can you ride the whale, but you can ride this big boy all the way to the castle, and you could jump off the whale into the castle. So even if the walls...
He's so majestic, look.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
He's so cool looking.
Even if all the walls are up and there's no other way in the castle and the sewers are flooded, you can jump off the back of this big boy right here, and you can do what's a little shock paratrooper action where you just fly down with your gliding morph, you land in one of the courtyards, and you create chaos.
I noticed there was like some stuff what is that stuff falling down?
So as the whale, he flies around a static route throughout the game, and he'll spawn, it'll actually be an event on the server that says like, hey, the whale's spawning. You don't have to do anything for it, but those that fall off him can actually be mined by players. And when you mine those crystals, it actually lets you create items in the game that are kind of only obtainable when you mine those crystals.
Okay. Any items that you would say would be the first ones?
Well, I mean, it helps you create what's called stellarite. So think of stellarites as almost like a weapon enchant or weapon oil.
Okay.
So you'll slaughter
here. This is like obviously where you explained it is a lot more gargantuan in terms of combat. So give us a elevator pitch of basically what the audience is going to see.
Yeah. So the Castle Siege again is something that it's why people play Throne and Liberty for the PvP and take it as seriously as they do. Alliances in the game can be up to 4 guilds. 4 guilds can hold 70 players each. So quick math, that is 280 players per alliance. Today we're going to be seeing the biggest PvP content that Throne and Liberty has to offer. And that's a lot of ego, a lot of, pride on the line. We saw NA versus EU earlier today. There's going to be some of that here as well, where guilds, have been the friendly trash talk within their own respective discords and within their own respective communities coming up to this siege. There's a lot of skin in the game, and your server will kind of change and mold during a castle siege. There's one last thing I want to talk to you about castle sieges before I throw it to a quick break, is that the guild that owns the castle can control a % of the server tax. So if you are like Grenton, when I won the castle siege, the first thing I did is I just maxed out the tax. Tax the rich, right? That's what I was doing in Throne of Liberty. All these people who are spending Lucent in the market, I was taxing them, and where that tax goes is it goes into the castle purse for the next siege. So if you're someone who is consistently winning a castle, some guilds kind of increase the tax. There's a baseline tax for owning the castle.
Well, thank you for all this information. I feel like you are our library encyclopedia